I didn't understand the question.
Who are the
Who's
professional?
your idol?
Oh, who's my idol? My idol is Dubu. He's the best. Yeah. When I meet him first time, he was great. He gave me a lot of impression. Yeah.
Meeting yourself.
Not myself. I said Dubu. Yeah, he's the best player. Was that the question? Player that who, like idol player you before you become a pro player. It's fine. Next question.
So a lot of teams struggle with a post-TI hangover. But 4 weeks after TI8, you turned around as a team and placed first in a qualifier for a Kuala Lumpur major. How were you able to do that?
This is not positive question.
How is it not positive? You were able to be really successful 4 weeks after TI when most teams right after TI aren't able to play as well.
I would say it's just our roster. We have very strong roster, and then we try to work hard. Yeah, and then we understand each other well.
Who would you most like to face in a grand final?
Grand final.
TNC.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Hype.
That is good answer. It sounds fun actually. I'll go with TNC too. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Any positive answer question?
We had positive questions. We started with positive questions.
That's not a positive question.
What?
That sounds like just mediocre question. It's not positive, it's not negative. And then right after that, boom, negative question.
What was the negative
Pretend
question?
positive.
It's a positive question sandwich.
Okay.
What kind of a positive question would you rather me ask?
I don't know. Maybe like why your wife is so pretty, or like why you're having such good life, stuff like that.
Okay. Why is your wife so pretty?
She's just pretty. Yeah, I love her. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh man, I can relate. I can really relate to that that vibe. That's like every conversation I've ever had with Sind. Just like that's not a very good question. Like Sind, lol. Just trying to get through it. But that was a lot of fun getting to hear that. Now we're really getting close to the action getting started here on the main stage. We're getting to hear a lot from these players, but I really do want to hear from you guys just a little bit more as to what you think is going to happen when we actually get down into the game.
After TI, I'm making a team with Dubu. This PMA can't get triggered. This is the guy that you want to play with. I mean, it's something else. You could hear him in his voice. He's not going to get tilted.
I think it's a really important attitude to have in a BO1, right?
Yeah.
You can see even Ice as he walks out onto the stage, goofing around, like pretending to have a go at the camera.
I will say, I am single, so I wouldn't know, but I feel like maybe the fact that they have pretty wives might help them.
Yeah, it could. I don't know why you're looking at me. I definitely don't have one. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, we're all.
No, the cost is actually, I think you're married, right?
No, I'm not married yet.
No.
Halfway there.
No, yeah, we're all single. Why'd you wink at me? Oh my goodness. Bigger Chad than Ogre here in the middle of us in Dominic. But what do you actually think about this matchup? Yeah, we obviously hear Dominic talk about some of the metal that these players are made of, but what do you actually think about how the head-to-head matchup could play out?
I think the biggest one, you go back, like Abed for a long time, for like a year or two, people thought he was up there, like at the top with Sumail and Miracle for a little bit. You know,
Well, yeah, Reddit thought that. What's that supposed to mean?
I mean, I
thought that as well.
I thought Abed. I still think he's a great
mention
player.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Reddit's usually pretty accurate.
Yeah.
But you don't think so?
Hey, that's your opinion, man.
Can't wait to see the Reddit thread about Kyle.
No, I think the craziest thing is it's Abed versus we are, right? And we just heard Croaky say, I wanted a pure middle player, and Weehaw, this dude has been spamming middle heroes. He is the purest of mid heroes.
Funniest anecdote, the other day, it was like 7:30. I ran in, I had to get my room key because I always lose it. And Wee's mom was next to me, right? She was trying to meet Wee, and she was supposed to meet him at 7. It's 7:30. She's like, hey, do you know where he is? Because she recognized me.
Yeah.
Anyway, guess where he is? Huddled around Kuro in the practice room watching a replay.
Slow down there,
What?
Slick.
What?
Wait, keep going, keep going.
What? Rich, stop that, okay? I was trying to help her out. Point is, Weeha forgot his mom because Kuro had him watching replays. They were in like hour 47. That's all.
You don't want to be eliminated
That's a
in
great
the BO1.
point, Kyle. It
What?
really is.
My point is they work hard, okay? Kuro, they boot camped for like 3 weeks in Europe before this tournament.
Yeah.
Then they came to China to boot camp for another 2 weeks. I think by far had the most practice of any team coming into this event, and they're in a
Yeah.
BO1. I don't think anyone expected that.
Yeah, I think that there obviously have been kind of a lot of things that we didn't necessarily expect to happen. I mean, even with RNG being one of the teams that's in these best of ones, I think that you were one of the ones that was really saying this was a team that looked strong as well. And now when we look at this matchup, none of these teams are teams that you expected in best of one. But I want to talk about the particular head-to-head matchup. You already started to throw this under the microscope, and I kind of want to ask you, this was brilliant in the first panel, really starting to talk about different players that we want to look at that head-to-head matchup. Who are you looking at?
Probably the offlaners. I think Mind Control had by far like the worst tournament I've ever seen him play. Like when Liquid won TI7, they unanimously as a group said Mind Control is
He
their
was a
best
god.
player. Yeah, and he honestly was phenomenal. Whereas thus far he's looked mortal in this tournament, and I think it's a big part of the reason they've slipped a little.
That is a very important thing to keep in mind, actually start to talk about these matchups. But now we don't have to talk anymore. The matchup is about to get started. Let's see who will survive in TI.
Fnatic versus Team Liquid. Game 1.
And the best of ones continue. That's right, Fnatic versus Team Liquid. The TI7 champs are now in the lower bracket in a best of one against a very scary Southeast Asian team in Fnatic. Fogged, what are your thoughts about just being able to see this matchup in just one game?
I don't think anybody would have expected this to be down here. Maybe Fnatic, especially after the group stages they had. They were showing some rough games, but then they also started bringing it back. But this is going to be a bit of a doozy. I don't really know what I'm expecting here. After seeing Liquid as well, some of the group stage games, they were shaky. I'm pretty excited for this one.
Blitz, do you feel the same? Do you think that both of these teams have had their shaky moments in the group stage?
Yeah, I feel like Fnatic, after they 2-0'd EG, a lot of people were really hot on them. And it just turned out during that that time period, EG was just garbage. But they've gotten a lot better since then.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to rate that win anymore.
So do you still hold to your previous prediction? You said you started off the group stage and you told me Team Liquid, top 4 team or bottom 4 team? There is no middle ground.
There is no middle ground.
Is this the bottom 4 or are they just going to make the run through the lower bracket?
Who knows? I think if they win this game, they'll find the confidence and they'll figure it out. That's what I meant by it. Or they just bust here. I don't think that they're going to get middle of the pack. I feel like they're either going to discover a concept here, it's going to get them rolling, and maybe they finish top 4, or this is it. They haven't figured it out whatsoever. None of their losses were a fluke. I mean, it's just a weird position for them to be in, considering they got second at the major, the most recent major. It looked like they were coming on really strong. It felt like Weehaw sort of revitalized them. And now I have no idea where they could end up.
And then on the other side, I mean, just think about Fnatic's position. You're in a best of one, and you actually have to match up against Team Liquid. But they're also a team that has a ton of star power. That they can actually win this best of one. How far away are they from being actually the favorites against a Team Liquid that has been on shaky ground?
I don't think they're very far at all, honestly. I think that Fnatic's a bit of a weird team for me lately, just because they just recently switched up, right? So I feel like it's still weird to be looking at them playing like this when they're it's just different. Yeah, I don't know. It's very strange for me just because of their dynamic has changed so much with Jabs now playing like the carry and everything. Even though I know we've seen them so much in group stages, I don't know. It's just a bit of a weird one for me. So I think they can, but I think it's still going to be really difficult breaking into Liquid because overall, like they have these like their pedigree, right? Just the pedigree of these players is that much more above than Fnatic.
Yeah.
And it has to say something about the confidence level that you have in your team to be able to have this kind of like role switch, right? Like it says you're not really happy with the way things are going.
Yeah, for sure. What's really weird is that I feel like both teams are pretty similar in the sense that I feel like these are both the most boom or bust teams in the tournament. And the scary part is once you start off in the lower bracket, it's not good to be a boom or bust team. All it takes is one bad day.
And the way Fnatic ended, right? That was the last game that they had.
Whoa.
Their fate was definitely in their own hands. They were breaking high ground. Their game was looking great versus VP, right? And then something just happened. Something broke them. So I'm hoping, for their sake, that that does not transition into any of this. I don't know what kind of problems they had. I saw a couple of them. They were pretty down after losing that one because that was their big decider. So see if they can bounce back in Liquid. Some of the games, like I said, they have moments of brilliance and they have moments of high weakness. I saw Miracle bleed more than ever in these group stages. He was jumping in and kind of just dying a lot of the times in these games.
Yeah.
So
at TI, what I think really stabilizes a team is knowing that you have a star player that can carry you out of those bad situations. You have it in the back of your mind and it's in your back pocket. We have Miracle. Eventually he will carry us through a few of these games. And we haven't really seen that from Miracle. This is probably one of the worst tournaments that we've seen him play. It feels like he's making more mechanical errors than ever, high amount of deaths. We're not really seeing that sort of star player impact that we've sort of come to expect from him.
And then on the Fnatic side, was it that man on screen? Is that the man you're going to be depending on to bring in that star power to actually be your anchor in the team? Is that Abed?
I think it's both of these, right? I think it's Abed as well as DJ. I think DJ's kind of been quiet for me. Where we used to always look at DJ and be like, man, DJ's gonna have some like incredible performance. Kind of, I feel like Tim's has kind of taken over like the DJ a little bit.
Yeah,
right? Like, Tim's is having that like crazy 4-position shutdown where he's just going crazy, transitioning. DJ's been a lot quieter.
I remember, what was it, Manila Major? The cheers for DJ were off the chart. This was a playmaking support that was able to do so much for you, but unfortunately, Fnatic have not been seeing the same kind of success as you can see through their KDA at the bottom there.
One of my favorite moments when I did work with Liquid was at the Manila Major. Whenever they'd flash the camera inside the booths, you could see them like shouting and yelling after they lost fights. And so I asked after the game, I was like, what were you guys yelling about after they played Fnatic in the lower bracket? And they were like, we were chanting DJ, DJ every time they wiped us.
That's nice. That's a good one. Actually.
I mean, that's the kind of thing you need to do in these high-pressure situations. We saw the biggest clown of all in Dota 2. You had Ice Ice Ice, who was just kind of chilling out. You need somebody to be able to calm everyone down, cut down some of the nerves that are eking out on everybody.
The one thing about this team is I feel like at times they can almost be too calm across the board. Like you have a guy like Abed who, you know, he doesn't really say too much.
No.
He's not one of those like energizing mids that's going to go out there. He's going to do it with his play. And they need to find the spark right here.
I feel like that's sometimes where maybe that might be why they wanted Jabs, why they ended up moving to the one. Because as we know, like Jabs, he might look like this quiet little guy, but he's extremely vocal. Like he's nonstop talking in those games. So maybe that could be a reason why they did end up transitioning. And oh, did I see that? I hear that right.
That is,
I hear that right.
Elder Titan first pick for Fnatic, and Liquid almost instantly respond with the Wisp Gyro.
Yeah, Wisp Gyro, of course, just a really classic combination. Very strong overall. We saw in the last game alone, Gyro, as a hero independently, I feel like he's really moved up for me, but with the IO, he transitions into a different kind of beast.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this is what like Liquid used to be. This used to be Liquid's bread and butter. Having the IO, this is what how they won TI.
I mean, we said the same thing about Alliance, how they were just going for what was their most comfort zone. And unfortunately, that didn't turn out so well, perhaps because of some interesting twists in the draft. That offlane Void and the last pick Gyrocopter.
I like this kind of opener way better. I'm just like going off of like recent memory from the games that I got to see from Liquid when I was casting them during the group stages, and I saw some pretty strange drafts coming out. We saw like a last pick Pango into a Death Prophet where he just couldn't have a lane. Like overall, their drafts have been a little bit weird for me. Just the unison, like how do they all work so well together? I feel like with this type of opener, it's going to be a lot more natural and a lot easier for them to kind of build a lineup around it.
The second pick, Leshrac, this is going to be a squad that has plenty of AoE damage to throw around to try and bring down this Gyro Wisp. It also offers that bit of flexibility that we like to be able to see. We've seen plenty of like these 5-position Elder Titans. This Leshrac can be core or support.
Yeah, DJ had a couple 4-position Lesh, right? Yeah. He had a few throughout the group stages, so for sure.
And we saw what Lanam could do with his Leshrac in that previous game. It's such a dangerous hero. has one of the better wave clear abilities in Dota with his ulti. He's so mana efficient at clearing stacks. As a support, he's always going to feel good because he comes equipped with a stun and good team fight. He has a way to tower push. He's sort of the type of hero that does it all. The only thing that really hard counters him is when people start to build either A little bit more mobility, or B, BKBs, but even in those situations, he doesn't feel that weak because Edict goes through a lot of that damage too.
And he's speedy. He just feels nice to play, right? You're just running around at like 330 movement speed at level 1. Just feels nice.
I mean, I love any support that can wave clear because I'm greedy and I like to last hit creeps, but
Blitz will never be your hard 6 position that just kind of AFKs behind the carry, ready to save him. He'll never be that guy.
yes, but I will nuke your range creep for you. I will definitely do that.
Secured it,
For you,
quote,
he
unquote.
says.
Dude, I love Crystal Maiden as a support for that reason because you can justify doing that.
I'm nuking, I'm pressuring and securing the creep.
Oh,
I
believe me,
swear.
I got to play with the Blitz Dota 4-position Crystal Maiden, the most sacked offlaner of all time, where my 4-position gets to jungle at all times.
Yeah, I was like 2 levels higher than you every game.
Fnatic, so we do have this Wish Gyro, right? There are a lot of traditional counters to what the Wish Gyro is. You talk about like, oh, we used to be carrying Morphling all the time, you know, Ancient Apparition to be able to stop the heal. What is the meta counter to these two?
I personally like the Svens and the Lifestealers a couple of times that I've seen, just being able to close on top of him and just bring him down. The Sven also provides you like that Warcry for your team. So it seems to have started to back away from it a little bit lately, but I do think those can be some of those options. I think we used to always see the Jug as well, but Jug's kind of a hero that you're not really looking at too often unless you have some type of way to buff it up.
Yeah, typically you either want some way to deal with both the heroes at the same time, or you want the ability to just deal with the Wisp. Like way back when we used to see EG run the counter, it was their Clinks all the time, just the single target focus onto the IO. Nowadays, it's a little bit more difficult to do that.
See, Fnatic, they even take out the... So they're looking at just overall just healing and defensive supports, taking out the Oracle as well as that Chen. Oracle definitely making sense, and I mean the Chen too, right? This is just a very comfort pick, and I think taking out the 2 mobility cores, Liquid doing that is really telltale, right? They have an IO, they're looking for their Tidehunter. You're already like very limited on your disables in your draft.
Yeah.
So taking out those 2, definitely a good option for Liquid.
You want heroes that will absolutely be punished by a relocate gank and don't have a chance to be able to quickly get out instead.
Plus, Ember is one of those heroes, like I said, it deals with both heroes at the same time. Sleight of Fist Chains is always going to feel good against these guys because you know that if you get one, you're likely getting the other. And Liquid, in response, they're going to take the Tidehunter. I like this hero. I feel like he's an interesting hero in that there used to be so many different lane counters to him, but nowadays a lot of them have been nerfed. You used to see Monkey Kings all the time, which made him nigh unplayable. You used to see Ursas all the time, but nowadays you don't really see those heroes. So I feel like his laning phase has been enabled a lot more than he used to be.
I think the supports too, right? Like Disruptor, we're not seeing that hero picked like almost at all. AA's been reworked a bit, so like it used to be like the Chilling Touch people would pick to deal with the Tidehunter. So yeah, I definitely can agree with that. That he's just, I've been seeing this hero, and I think Tidehunter looks like probably one of the best offlaners now. Where I was rating like Centaurs and Mars and stuff really high. Now I've been seeing these teams picking it. The way they rally around it, it's just, I think like Fade even said it in his interview where he's just like, yeah, we don't really care if our lanes and stuff are going bad. We have this Tidehunter, we have team fight. We'll be able to take the team fight in those mid-game and later game situations where that's all that matters. You win the team fight, you win the game.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. There are some counters left that are popular. You could have the Slark. That's what we saw Infamous pick against NIP, if you recall in that game, where they absolutely dumpstered that Tidehunter.
You want to talk about a support that does it. There's Grimstroke, who's a force mode pick, but that is highly unlikely to happen anymore. It looks like Fnatic just going to go back to their comfort zone, much like Liquid is doing here.
Yeah, I really like Enigma against the Tidehunter just because he doesn't care about the Kraken shell.
Yeah.
It's similar to the concept of when you pick Disruptor against Tidehunter. He can Kraken off that silence as often as he wants, but it's still going to hit you. Black Hole is a similar position, plus it deals with the IO Gyro in the sense that they're always going to stick together, so you're almost always guaranteeing yourself a double Black Hole.
And with this, there's not too many. Normally, it's like your off lane that's going to provide that like BKB piercing disable that makes sure that the Enigma isn't as much of a threat. Liquid going to have to struggle to find those answers either from their 4-5 or maybe their mid.
Their lineup is a little bit greedy, though, on the side of Fnatic right now.
It is.
I'd like to see them have either more guaranteed stuns or easier ways to start fights.
And what are you leaning towards right now when it comes to Fnatic? This going to be a 2-3 position Lesh with a 5 and 4 Elder Titan and Enigma respectively.
think that's looking like Abed's Lesh, right?
It could be. It's a pretty good Lush game so far.
That's
like,
what
there's
I'm
no
thinking.
heavy burst damage on the side of Liquid, plus your natural BKB carrier. You push out the lanes, which I think is one of the better ways to deal with IO Gyro. Always have the lane in their face.
So while this Enigma is a really good counter pick to everything Liquid has right now, it does leave Fnatic in a bit of a lock position.
Yeah. Right now, Liquid, they don't have any real way to deal with BKB Enigma, which is always going to be an issue.
I'm surprised they went for the Shaman there. I thought they would go for something like the Rubik or the Silencer, something like that, just to be able to prevent that Enigma from getting any type of thing. But I guess they want to be able to have themselves some more way to push towers and also to have that extra form of lockdown. Because right now they don't have no lockdown. This one provides two. You have your Shackles and your Hex. So
I
you
could
don't catch
see
heroes.
a situation where Liquid just own the map by playing the Shaman really quickly.
Yeah.
And if you mess up one black hole, the game just, that's it. It's over.
This is the lineup that can split push really well. Is right. With all this team fight that's coming in from Fnatic, maybe it's better to avoid all this 5-manning and just have Wisp Gyro on one side of the map, Shadow Shaman pushing out the other side.
Yeah. And this is the type of hero that they needed. They needed some sort of pace setter, because I feel like what we just talked about, there is a possibility where Liquid just own the map, win the game really quickly on the back of that, and you have this Enigma that's largely useless. So you take a hero that can sort of set the tempo for your team, Timbersaw. He can potentially just go one-on-one against the Tidehunter. You can leave him relatively open at this point. He lanes everywhere pretty well in this game.
I think, like you said, too, he's a hero that addresses the IO, right? This is the other one, too. It's playing IO versus Timbersaw can be pretty tough because you are, unfortunately, a strength hero. So you really do get chunked down a lot by that. And this is Fnatic. So Ice, you're ready, like, bells are ringing for that Ice, Timbersaw. Even though it's been some time, he still has played it a couple of times here. I think he's played it once or twice.
Very few more like quintessential hero player combos than Ice, Timbersaw.
I actually wouldn't mind seeing the Enigma this game as your 4. Just considering I think your offlaner has to be a little bit quicker.
So wait, where are you leading for this Timbersaw? Are you thinking it's going to be a mid and maybe like a 1 position or 3 position Lesh? I mean, there's a lot of options, right? Fnatic, no matter what, they can change things around based off this Liquid last pick.
Yeah, you could even go something like safe lane Timber to one-on-one against the Tidehunter.
Yeah.
You allow the Enigma to do the Enigma thing, jungle, hit the side camp, and then you ET +1 to deal with the Gyro IO. I don't even think that's that bad of an option, because I think ET actually trades pretty well in that situation.
I want them to have a traditional carry, though, right? Like, if the game gets to later stages, if they end up with this, sure, they have the BKB Black Hole and they have all this damage, but they don't have that 1-to-1 to be able to actually match up versus the Gyro. So I'm wondering what carry they actually want to go for. Like, Lifestealer and... I've seen the Razor Band, so like the Lifestealer is sticking up a little bit more for me. There's that match. Just be able to chase out the eye on the Gyro, but...
I agree with you, because I feel like even though you have the Enigma for the ultra late game, because there is no cancel so far, you do want to see something more reliable in terms of DPS. I'd like some sort of BKB carry that can just frontline for you, hit away.
Like initially I was saying like the Sven could still be a possibility, but you were saying like Greed. Sven might be a little bit greedy here.
Is there anything like Juggernaut or one of those faster carries like Lifestealer or something? That's the kind of area you're looking for.
Yeah,
relatively quick tempo that can build up.
Yeah, I feel like Jug actually plays really well so far in this game. He's good against the Tidehunter, doesn't care about the Kraken at all, but in fact, they ended up going for the Kunkka, so...
So it is going to be, is that a core Enigma?
I mean, it could be our Lesh ET as the side lane, the Timbersaw 1v1 against Tide, mid Kunkka?
Yeah, you can definitely do that.
Kunkka I like a lot versus Gyrocopter. I think that's one of my favorites from even like, what, 2 years ago. I think Secret was one of the biggest ones when Kunkka wasn't being picked too much and Gyro was super popular. They just picked this because the Rum is just so good versus Flat Cannon and Call Down. You can predict it easily.
All right, the Necrophos, last pick for Team Liquid. Blitz fogged. Last thoughts about it?
Strong Necro versus Kunkka. I think that one's just for the lane. Try to take over him, and this looks like a good group up lineup for Liquid.
I think Fnatic's actually going to do it and knock out Liquid.
All right, it could happen. Maybe Liquid's going to go out as a bottom 4 team. We'll have to see. But next, we've got an analyst who's so good, he needed his very own segment. Let's go to Nahaz with the last word.
We are back once again here at TI9 with 60 seconds of stats. It's a Liquid game. You know what you're going to get from me. Liquid, this patch, 43-20 in games ending before that 35-minute mark. Only 31-34 in games that go past that point. But Fnatic has one of the best tempo-controlling heroes in the game right now. Elder Titan in this patch, 20-6 prior to the 35-minute mark. A losing record, 21-24 in games that go past that point. And a legendary hero matchup as GH puts his 44-15 career record on the aisle, on the line, as Ice is trying to get his 80th career win on Timbersaw. 79-41, that is 50 more wins than the next closest player for his career. The TI7 champions against third place Stockholm Major finishers Fnatic with everything on the line. Here are Lyrical and Trent.
Thank you so much, Nahaz. A lot of tempo controlling, a lot of records going on. But at the end of the day, it's all coming down to this. A best of one. Who is going to move on? Who's getting knocked out?
I needed the numbers. I haven't got them yet. I'm feeling it. Well, I think the draft seemed to almost be settling there onto a Fnatic.
Yeah.
I would consider that a bit of an upset. I feel like a lot of people started taking Liquid and putting them pretty high up there. And those predictions near the end of the tournament.
I mean, how could you not? You've got like the storied captain. You've got the new player that comes in. You know, he's bringing a fresh new style. They looked amazing at the last majors, but they are coming up against the wall here after a disappointing group stage performance. We'll see if they can take down Fnatic, and also if Fnatic have something to say about themselves.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hype one. What else can we say? We got a black hole. We got a Ravage going on. There's going to be stuff, particle effects all over your screen. Let's hop into it, ladies and gentlemen.
Lots of team fight, but we might not see it for a little while. We do have a laning stage to get through, and depending on how well that goes for Liquid, perhaps those team fights don't ever materialize for Fnatic because they got the spells, as you were saying. They got themselves a big black hole. They got the Elder Titan setup. They got themselves the boat. I guess both teams are really pretty flush in AoE damage here.
And, you know, not just the AoE damage, it was something that Fog mentioned on the draft panel as well, that rum buff. I think that there was a couple of games last year when we saw the Necrophos, kind of a soft counter having that Kunkka there afterwards, because you get all that damage mitigation right up front, which means you sometimes won't be able to get the kill with the Necro ulti.
Yeah, very true. A lot of sustain, though, overall on the side of Liquid, right? You always... You know, we talk about these cheesy and cheeky things you can do with the IO. Speaking of cheeky, Ice. Yeah, it's looking for that last win. Jeez, that guy just never stops. But we've talked about damage reduction before with the IO, and now you kind of have this double heal thing going on, right? The Necrophos and the IO, a bit of a classic. So either through popping the Greaves or just by using the Death Pulse itself, you're going to be healing yourself. You're going to heal the IO. You're going to heal the guy who IO is playing with, and then you're going to get the heal amplification as well from the IO to that same person. So this gyrocopter is going to gain like 700 HP.
That's going to be a lot of HP, man. Not going to lie. That sounds terrifying to play against. The flip side of that, though, of course, is that you do have the nice lockdown as well as ridiculous burst damage that Timbersaw brings. Granted, in a little bit of an AoE, and sometimes can be lacking when you need to bring down that one particular target. But that's what the rest of the heroes are there for. So Fnatic going to look like they get a little bit of an easier lane for Ice, as DJ will deny out the range creep coming in.
Yeah, if it wasn't easy enough already, right? Getting a matchup versus the Tidehunter. I don't know if we were going to get like musical lanes going on here, how much the team's going to carry about it, and how much can the Shadow Shaman do here? Because we know the guy's got a mean right click. Kuro even starting with the Fairy Fire to try and bob it up a little bit higher, and trying to get those Eidolons. Oh, DJ with the micro. I hear this guy has a very good Enigma.
It's true. He is a monster. And we'll have to keep our eyes on him. Abed already getting the first range creep tonight. Nicely played there against Weehaw. As we said, those Eidolons die in the bottom lane. And up top, the other one we haven't talked about, Jabs playing on the Leshrac. A hero that has really run the gamut as far as positional play goes. He's absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, and something that he's comfortable with, I guess, and well, speaking of being everywhere, so is Jabs, right? I mean, the guy's played mid, the guy outplayed position 1, and the guy was just playing support, so Let's Track a hero that fits into all those categories. I would hope that he's going to be well-versed in it.
Yeah, and you can expect that that's going to be the case. A little CS there for Mr. Kuro, gets the last hit on the other one as well. Always nice as a support if you can pick some of that up early on, but like you mentioned, something that could become an issue as this goes on is the Timbersaw against the Tidehunter. This hero so often thought of as the counter for those just melee strength cores, bring down the HP, and you can see he's just getting chunked a little bit.
And the problem is, I don't think they have a kill opportunity before level 3. Once you hit level 3, you get the second point into the reactive armor. Times get pretty tough versus the old Timber, and the Enigma constantly going to be pulling that lane back if he wants to, or just gaining a ton of gold for himself and fully focusing on his farm like DJ is right now, getting some camps finished out, making sure they respawn, and even helping to control the runes there.
As you can see, the illusion rune spawning down bottom, and moving over to that spot already is going to be DJ.
Mind Control's got a plan. He says, you know what, I just won't lane.
I love it. That's great.
This is pretty much what you have to do, right? He's already got the Kraken Shell. Unfortunately, you know, he's got himself a stout shield, so maybe not helping him too much right now, but he's just going to dodge the Timber and say, come get me if you want me, and Enigma doesn't want to deal with him. He's gone into the Radiant Jungle, which is also spotted right now by that ward. So this is a pretty great solution right now as long as Crow doesn't feed.
Okay, so Kuro hangs down bottom, tries to mess with the last hits of Ice Ice Ice. This was a constant hero that we would see do this as well.
Yes.
The Shadow Shaman when it was Darkseer that was making this exact same play.
Yeah, he's got the big base damage. So currently at 80, he already has 4 denies.
Very, very nice. You can maybe get a couple of pulls off here as well. So this lane looking like it's probably going to be a wash with every now and then Ice 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 maybe losing out on a couple of creeps. We'll see if anybody rotates over from Fnatic to try and disrupt this. But
oh, he's getting close. I better move back one more. All the way back to the tier 3. And you can't blame him. That's exactly what he's got to do. Mind Control, figuring it out.
Now, Yeehaw gonna eat a stun as well as a couple of tower shots there, but couldn't get the Tidebringer punch off to him either. And so far, so good. You look at Liquid across all the lanes, they're kind of winning it out, but the big wrinkle that's thrown into that is that, of course, DJ on the Enigma constantly farming.
Yeah, he is making his move now towards the mid lane as well. Just gonna give a little high five to Weehaw as he passes through. Oh, hopefully not to any farm here. Well, maybe more than a high five.
Well, he's gonna make it out of there. Misses a couple of Eidolons. And Mind Control just keep it on farming. Already level 4 now. Haven't really talked that much about top lane as of yet. And it is still that Gyrocopter against the Lesh, and Gyro getting a little bit better of him so far, but not by a significant margin.
No, pretty much even up here. It looks like Fnatic just don't really have a solution. You can say it kind of comes down to what Ice Ice can do, right? Because they are trading essentially equally. Ice Ice, he's going for the hard camp, but at the same time, he's also getting denied occasionally from Kuro. So, depending, Kuro just really wants these denies. He should come out on top, right, as the Timbersaw. And then you'd also think that the Timbersaw is going to be the hero that's going to be able to better, push that net worth onto the enemy team.
Goes for the very risky courier move.
This is the hardest working courier you're ever going to see at 4 minutes.
Yeah, they're going to send it around the back way.
He's getting the air miles.
That's true. Oh, look out now. Top lane, Jab's already under fire. Gyrocopter trying to bring him down, but Miracle not quite able to get that kill. And it's going to be a salve up and the back away. So again, a very passive laning stage so far. Abed does need to be a little bit careful. He's going to salve up since we had just got level 6. Bounty runes trading off. It looks like it is 2 apiece.
Yeah, just enough to get GH his bottle now too. So if this lane was even before, as you can see Miracle's already starting to pull away, shouldn't be the case now. Should give a pretty significant advantage to them. Oh, I see a line drawn here from Dubu saying, go get this guy. Just directly at the Tidehunter.
I mean, Mind Control's just doing whatever the heck he wants, right? Like, this guy is just happy as a clam, hanging down here in the bottom lane.
This is way better than people jungling. Like, this is significantly better. It's way more gold.
All right, everybody is going to start doing this in pubs, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
It is very frustrating, though, because how do you, like, what do you do?
No.
If you just waste your own time to do it, like, let's say you even kill the guy, he's not even worth that much necessarily, and he's just going to TP back and probably do it again. No. Or he'll have messed up the lane enough that life's good. But here we go. Haste rune, that's a good way to deal with it.
Oh, that's a lot of Eidolons that were coming close to going down, but Abed pulls back in the Tidehunter. The lower matchup is alive and well at this point as they will find that kill onto... Well, okay. He misses the chain, but he gets the kill. Ice 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 takes him down. But in the meantime, it's a lot of pressure on that tier 1 tower bottom.
And finally a first blood. 6 minutes. It's one of the later ones I've seen.
Uh-oh. A little bit of a problem as Kuro made the rotation. They didn't quite spot it out, and the stomp is going to come a bit too late. So they find a kill now onto Jabs on that Lesh, and going to get the pressure onto the tower afterwards.
Yeah, evening things up here. They also have that catapult with them. I don't think they want to give this one up. knowing that the Timber doesn't want to make that rotation. What can the Leshrac do? Can he come back into this?
He's thinking about
Jabs,
it.
he's not sure. He's just sitting at his base.
Well, he's going to come back now, and they do have the missile onto the Elder Titan. Not a chance for a stomp as of yet, but it looks like the catapult is eventually going to get denied, actually. So, yeah, tons of damage onto that tier 1 tower top, and not really that much to show for it. If they're not careful, they might end up going down. Trying to get the D ward here.
That's nice. Fresh ward. Jeez, dude, we just walked into Kuro.
It's got back out afterwards. Yeah, in the meantime, Ice is going to get the pressure down bottom, so see if they can trade off these tier 1 towers one apiece, although there's a rotation coming in now. It's Weehaw moving down to the bottom, the wraparound coming from Mind Control as well. It does have Ravage available, but it doesn't look like they can really commit for it fully. Top tower goes down, GH getting the last hit on. They're actually going on him now. Looking for the stomp, is not quite going to connect, and Abed looking for the X-play afterwards, but doesn't have that many points on X. On the side, they find themselves one. Dubu chasing out Kuro, but they're trying to kill off Miracle, and it looks like they will be able to pull him back in, take him down, and GH the one who gets away.
Another solid rotation there from Abed will actually get the kill this time, as Ice isn't there to snag it away from him. And that's the hero you want, right? Slow down this gyrocopter. Of course, Weehaw is getting a little rich down bottom as he's tagging with Ice and DJ, perhaps looking for a scythe on that oh-so-tantalizing Enigma. But they're going to bring down Jabs here, too. So 2 cores here versus the Weehaw Necrophos.
You do have to be careful, though. Dive like this in a position where you might get caught and killed. It's going to be a quick one for Weehaw, most likely, as he does go down. Yeah. Very nice rotation.
No Ghost Shroud to abuse. Also didn't even have that many wand charges in the first place. So now I believe we're going to get a trade here because it's going to be very difficult to try and defend this one for Liquid.
Now it's just sort of the Timber Saw thing, right? Timber chain forward from Ice forces them back, take control of the jungle. And easy peasy for Fnatic. And it's sort of still bringing up that question of, like, is there one side that you're favoring a little bit more? I mean, you just got the Midas on the Enigma.
I do like that. I also like that both teams have their supports in the mid lane right now. Just kind of trying to get to that level 6 a little bit quicker than the tomes will give you. See if you can get some lane XP while your friends are jungling. You can see Abed's up in the Dire jungle, just going through some creeps, waiting for the wave to push in. And Miracle also kind of doing the same here to give some space to their support. And something that Liquid has always done in the past, trying to enable these greedier position 5s.
Definitely. Much needed. Abed gonna get his dance moves on. So he heads off into the jungle to get some more farm. And as you said, need to get that level 6 on Kuro. One of the downsides of having that Tide Hunter off to the side and then just denying is he doesn't get any experience in lane. So he's naturally gonna be lower than pretty much everybody else in the game at this point. But meanwhile, Liquid, a little bit fresh and fanciful here with Ice. Steals away the medium camp. They're literally just like jostling for position over who gets to farm off the jungle.
Well, it was a point that was mentioned as well during the draft was, you know, where's the catch? What are the stuns here from Liquid? And suddenly this the Enigma comes out. They don't really address it right away with the support with the BKB piercing. They wind up going back for the Reaper's Scythe, trying to have something to deal with it. And then just general like low cooldown stuns even to try and handle this Timber Saw. There's not a whole lot to go off.
No, you really need that Shadow Shaman, but as we've mentioned, it doesn't have the levels to do it as of yet, and certainly doesn't have the farm.
He does get great cast range later on, though. That is one thing that the hero is pretty good at. If the Timber Saw isn't very careful when he's going through these team fights, like just anywhere close, you can get shackled or hexed.
Yeah. You can see DJ there just adjusting his microphone. Should be ready to get back going again. You see the go call from Abed. Let's get this game underway. Let's play some Dota. Not us.
No.
Them.
That would not be great.
It's a 10-minute mark. Rune's coming up. Dubu trying to secure this bounty rune off to the side, but should be easily gotten off there, and Fnatic gonna pick up 3.
Yeah, looks that way.
Uh-oh. Weehaw. Down bottom, they're all rotating.
First black hole if they want it.
He's in some trouble. Malefice down, looking for some body blocks. Jabs with the haste rune, and they might not even need it. Although he is healed back up to full, and they're just going to drop the black hole right onto his head. Mind Control trying to move in for the Ravage. Is it going to be enough? Weehaw able to get the Reaper Scythe off in time. It does find the kill, but it comes at the cost of his own life. And now, can they pick off Jabs? This would be a huge kill for them, and Liquid able to make it happen with the rotation.
Reinforcements arrive. Ice wasn't even that scared. He still kept hitting creeps. The missile will send him running, though. So it turns out being a 2-for-1 there overall.
Oh,
as they
Dubu.
return back to Dubu.
He's in a little bit of a bad spot. Can they bring him down in time? P does not finish. GH is the one of all people to get the kill, and now dropping down the wards. There's kills happening all over the freaking place. Abed trying to get the ghost off. Can they get away in time? It doesn't look like it's quick and having stick charge as well. Bottling up to try and run away. The slowdown coming. Abed's actually making it out of there in time. Ice trying to play interrupt as well. Throwing a couple more black cannon shots, and now Ice is the one in trouble. He goes down as well. 1 by 1, save your buddy syndrome. It's not the way to do it.
The one thing you don't want versus Liquid is these long, drawn-out fights when the Necros is around, too, just like dragging them under the tower. Sure, pop a Death Pulse, keep things going. I got an IO, keeping me nice and healed, and the only reason Abed gets out of there is because Kuro low levels in the Hex and the Shackles, so he's manages to survive, but they do have pretty good movement speed right now to keep up with that Timbersaw.
And so often we talk about the importance of taking down that tier 1 tower in the mid lane, opening up the rest of the map, and really actually shutting it down for Fnatic. But a big win there, as they're able to find a couple quick kills for Team Liquid. In the meantime, it does look like Ice is going to try and clear through the ancient stack that was built up. That's probably one of the only ways that this could go really tragic for Fnatic at this point, was if that stack got stolen away. But it will be able to finish off his hood.
Yeah, aside from that, things are still relatively even across the board right now. Not a real like standout Timbersaw game in terms of like he's not setting the entire pace of things. It does hurt when you have a death like that, but he tends to wait for that hood. Especially Abed himself is one of the better Timbersaw players at abusing that, right? Where he would just go for this hood super early on and start planting himself in front of the tier 3s, much like Mind Control was.
Absolutely.
Vision currently very lax for both teams. I see some wards kind of planted down defensively for Liquid. Keep an eye on their own neutrals and potentially stacks as well. But they're flying a little blind up top there. No radar around, so dangerous stuff near Fnatic.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and obviously you can kind of get an idea of where people are at just based upon where you're moving and whether you see people there or not, where the lanes are pushed out. But always a little bit more comfortable if we can get the vision down. Drums finished off now for the gyrocopter. As we hit this 13-minute mark, Timbersaw still the one who's sort of leading the net worth table. And I think the big hero that's kind of fallen behind has been Jabs on that Leshrac. He feels like he's kind of changing his importance and role right now. It doesn't really feel like a position 1.
No, I would agree with that. They do need him for the tower push and everything, but a lot of that damage that you take out of that traditional 1 role is going to be helped out here from the Enigma.
You can see the lane comparisons here. Io Gyro making a lot happen. A lot of that after that last rotation and continued team fight that they had.
Oh, they're trying to catch Kuro down here. Has a TP.
Trying to run. Jabs moving in. Can they get there in time? No, they didn't. They spotted him. But they turned back around at the last second. So
they had the Yules too. I really thought they were going to grab him on that one. But yeah, couldn't quite get that vision at the right moment for themselves. Now the Liquid are going to try their luck here. Ice who's on the run, but he's got vision of Observer Ward, so very unlikely to get caught. He doesn't see the Invis rune on a Shadow Shaman though, so that will turn things perhaps into Liquid's favor. Ice playing it very safe, however.
Very much so. In the meantime, while the pressure is coming from Liquid up in the top lane.
Now this is what Lesh does.
Down bottom, Lesh doing what he does.
Yeah. May not be a 1 in some of the more traditional senses, but he pushes towers like no other at this point in the game. They really want this Blink Dagger on DJ before they want to take these fights, because sure, they went for the Necropost as a way to cancel like the Blink Dagger and the BKB, but I mean, first off, before the BKB even, you saw they needed to Ravage to cancel. It's still going to be difficult sometimes for Kuro to get the proper spacing for it too. So once the BKB's there, he's just going to black hole Weehaw every time.
Right.
And then they don't have an answer.
I mean, that's really the problem in this game. It feels like you need to be playing around the vision of Liquid and not giving an opening there onto Weehaw. Because otherwise you're just going to die in the duration of it.
You talk about stealing stacks though, and Weehaw is after it right now. Just got like 4 camps here, all found out, getting those Sadist procs going.
So meanwhile, towards mid, they were kind of eyeing it up. Fnatic, Jabs was doing the little hide in the trees, get some damage onto the tier 1 play. But meantime, it's a smoke up coming from Liquid. GH as well as Miracle looking for an opening, and they are going to break now. So they realize DJ's in the area, going to get the missile onto him. Doesn't break the TP in time, though. It's not quite going to get there in time.
Yeah, TPs are broken in this game right now. For Fnatic.
Get a Yules.
Very busted. Gonna be getting quite a few of those off themselves. Now we have the Hood and the Vanguard done for Ice. This guy is itching to see some enemy heroes.
And I feel like this is sort of a testament to the type of game that we've got going on right now in Dota. In the best of ones.
Look at this.
Oh.
Smoked up away from the Timbersaw here. So you've got him tangling with Weehaw up top.
GH
Probably not expecting a smoke here.
They got him. They got Miracle, but the turnaround Ravage is there. On to 2. Is it going to be enough damage? It looks like already Jabs need to run away. Abed also is already away from there. And the 4-person stomp, that might be enough to get them out. Shackles are going to land onto the Elder Titan. And with that, Liquid pick up 1. I feel like Fnatic have to feel lucky getting out of that with only 1 dead.
And there's one problem with that strategy, and that's that Ice can't cancel the TP. So Weehaw does also just leave right in front of his face to ensure that nothing will go wrong in that bottom fight. Great Ravage there, by the way. A little bit of an unorthodox build, I would say, from TI9 these days to just go like Medallion Blink, right? A Blink this early on the hero, you tend to want more auras and everything, but this also comes back to that idea of just pretty poor catch here, trying to ensure that DJ doesn't take over this game early, and not even worrying so much about the BKBs, just saying, listen, we don't want to get like black-holed early, we lose 2 heroes, and suddenly we've lost like 3 towers.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was sort of trying to talk about before the last fight broke out, and now there's going to be a fight breakout, so I won't be able to talk about it now either. But the big thing is it feels like oftentimes these best of ones, you end up playing a little bit more passive, waiting until you get that first item, that like no rush 15 minutes or so that end up coming out. As they do run into Kuro, and this is looking like a very dead Shadow Shaman. As the stun lands, Miracle moving into position. Are they going to try and fight this? DJ's here as well. Gotta be careful. The black hole laid down onto both of them with the boat coming out as well. GH not able to heal him up through that. Jabs getting the walkaway. Wards are still down, but Abed chasing. Can't find the Torrent. Meanwhile, Reaper's Sight kills off Jabs. The Lesh does finally go down. And Abed also in a little bit of trouble. If Mind Control could run him down there, doesn't want to go uphill.
It feels like Ice is just having a hard time getting involved in these engagements, though.
Yeah.
Maybe he's getting stuck off the side with, I mean, he had 500 damage in that last team fight. Like, you need him carrying right now. This guy's your highest net worth.
Well, and much more being involved in getting those defensive items, it feels like. And it is very valuable, you know, picking up the pipe. It's a lot of AoE magical damage and a little bit of physical thrown in there from Liquid. If you get all of those team fight items, there's going to be a huge window here for Fnatic to try and really put the pressure on Liquid.
Yeah, it just feels like a Timbersaw who's this far ahead, you would hope that he's definitely having a good lane impact, right? He's helping to push these side lanes a lot, and it is hard for them to shut him down, so he can play very aggressively, but he hasn't really been able to help, like, dominate the game like you would hope a Timbersaw does when he's so far ahead.
True enough. 1,000 gold lead right now for Fnatic. So we get closer to the 20-minute mark.
And closer to the Aghanim Scepter on Miracle, where that's where any sort of lead for Fnatic is going to start dwindling away towards the side of Liquid. And you don't really have the same farming mechanism coming out on the side of Fnatic. We don't have that like double bracer into the Radiance build from the Kunkka, nor do we want it, because I think this is a very fast lineup to try to play. He's going straight for the BKB after that Spirit Vessel. So kind of helping to negate this healing.
A very unique build going for the Spirit Vessel first, but it's just is a testament to how important that item is against this draft, whether it's the Necrophos, you know, or the IO or whoever.
I do think, though, that they're looking like they might have some damage issues if Liquid can get over this hump, because you have Weehaw going for the potentially the Radiance. He saved up a lot of gold. He isn't committed yet, but it's looking likely. And then you're going to have the Gyrocopter, the Aghanims. He's going to start getting to more and more items after that. And if you've gone for the Spirit Vessel BKB build, Abed's going to have to wait for like a day list sort of thing, and he's not going to be farming that fast because he's committed so much into fighting items that if Liquid can just dodge and try and build themselves up, then I think the hump past like 30, 35, 40 minutes, depending on how these tower pushes go, looks very good for Team Liquid.
And as we see the 20-minute mark come and go, the bounty runes will be traded off yet again. This time, it's Fnatic picking up 3 to the 1 of Team Liquid, with Abed also finding a little invis room. Throw in his bottle. Tons of sentries all across the map. You can just see him dotted here and there. And it's still just feeling like it's one of those games where neither side wants to put a foot forward or out of place.
I don't blame Liquid. Liquid are farming up a Gyrocopter.
Yeah.
I do think Fnatic are probably you know, a little itch in here. Like, how is there still a tier 1 mid and a tier 2 or a tier 1 top with a 10K net worth Timbersaw? To me, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
I don't see that as okay. They did get the tier 2 bottom, sure. They helped push in there, and it has positioned Liquid much more like north on this map, which is all very good. But I feel like maybe Fnatic could have more.
Yeah. Well, and maybe going to try and make that move soon. Their lead does continue to grow as they farm up the other side of the jungle. And as you said, keeping Liquid just stuck in this one particular area.
Oh, man, he's got so many islands. Whew.
That was beautiful. Yeah. Aghanim Scepter done for the Gyrocopter. His farm will continue to accelerate.
They want ice in the mid lane here. They have the Scythe, they have the Ravage.
Gotta be careful. 20 stacks right now of reactive armor, but Mind Control is there, taking it all away with Solar Crest, and the relocate comes in afterwards. This guy is going down.
That's a problem. That's a pinata popping right there. That's gonna go right to Weehaw. He's now top of the net worth. And you can't be that alone. You know, despite how tanky you are at the Timbersaw, that is one beautiful thing about the Necrophos. Yeah. Right? It is always gonna cut that effective HP by a significant margin.
Well, and it's so interesting, too, because oftentimes the split push coming in.
This is very good. This is the power of taking that tier 2 bottom. Sure, they didn't get the top stuff, but this helps you control Roche as the Dire team. Threatening a push into the bottom lane like this gives you information that they have to leave the Roche bit.
And now finishing off that Crimson Guard as well as a BKB on the Lesh. Maybe this is that timing that Fnatic were looking for, where they want to try and just control the whole map. And maybe even start to take some solid fights. Because we got double BKBs, all the survivability items for the Timbersaw.
Yeah, that timing is coming very soon for Fnatic, right? Where they want to make the most out of this Timbersaw, but he's going to get a lot of help. He's starting to be caught up by his allies, which is exactly what you want at this point, right? Timbersaw doesn't need to keep accelerating that much further, but you're getting to the point where all of these heroes need to connect, make use of their quad net worth and triple BKB options here, and take everything that's left here and deny it all away from Miracle.
Much needed. As they pressure through towards mid. Somewhat grouped up again. Maybe go for a smoke play here, possibly.
Yeah, 150 GPM is a lot at this point. 23 minutes in, and you see that recipe in your backpack, and you're like, oh, thank you. Like, I need every little bit I can get. Unfortunately for them, though, they won't find a fight before the Radiance is complete. This Necrophos has not given himself anything new for 4,000 gold plus. And now he's a whole new beast. He's going to be farming a lot faster. He's going to be doing much more damage in the team fights.
Yeah.
And helping to effectively remove a little bit of damage from his opponents here. No really super strong right clickers to have to worry about, though. So it's not so much a defensive Radiance in this game, or not offering any value in that regard.
Weehaw is just on another level. He's like body blocking the range creep. That creep wave was so far away.
It creates a potential possible situation for a gank, right?
Yeah, it's true, I guess.
The closer it is to your side, the better things look. Meanwhile,
speaking of a game, up top.
Oh, that was a BKB. Nope. You don't get to use that one.
Kill off that Leshrac.
Kuro doesn't even have Aether. And he caught him. Daytime. Caught him sleeping on the Leshrac.
X, though, back towards mid. One Radiance thing about it is that it is not a BKB, and they've got controlled, but the Earth Splitter coming through. The Ravage as well. DJ Black pulling, but is it enough? It's not looking like it. They do end up still not having that Lesh. X, though, onto GH, pulling him back in. Can they find any extra kills? ISS's trying to escape.
Got him again.
In the middle of that Timber Chain. This guy is not going anywhere. ISS's tries to run. Can they kill him off afterwards?
Oh, a stop too?
Miracle still chasing, looking for that follow-up. The Torrent is going to be there. ISS's gets to the high ground. Jeez. This guy's actually getting away like crazy.
The team play there coming up. First, he gets shackled mid-chain, then he gets hexed. He needed everything he could from the man who is his own idol, Dubu. Comes through with the double saves. Look at that damage, though, from Miracle. He is a scary guy already. 3,000 in that last team fight. And DJ was the one who picked up all the gold, about 400 for himself. So that first black hole with a BKB, it does land onto the Necrophos. But you hear it. Liquid heading to the pit. Not having to worry about the black hole, though not having the Ravage as well. Oh, and Miracle, he's flexing. That's why.
Mass BKBs. Now, so many right now across all the heroes. And These team fights feel like they're about to get a little bit weird.
Yep. Time to start baiting BKBs out. Who's got it? Who doesn't? There we go.
Jump in, mind control already on top of him. Ice taking a lot of damage, but very maneuverable. The stun is going to connect. The boat's already gone out, but the BKB means it will not connect. And this time, Ice does not get away. A 3-person stomp doesn't look like there's any follow-up though.
Came just a hair too late for the save. And I don't think you're going to see much of a contest here.
So Roche going down. Dubu.
Kuro's crazy.
Doing what he can. He spots him out now, and the Hex, does it go out in time? They don't quite have the range.
Gotta play it quite safe here.
But that stomp will land, and while he slept, he might actually kill off Roche. So Roche is gonna go down. Miracle picking up the Aegis.
Well, Fnatic, that very good timing for them is slipping away quite quickly. They need to find some sort of like a quick pick onto the Aegis, ideally without the black hole, right?
Yeah.
I mean, saw it last game with Alliance and RNG. The ultimate counter to these big cooldowns is the buyback, but you know what's even better? The free buyback that brings you right back in the action of the Aegis.
Or just kill everybody. You know, that's the other option.
Yeah, okay.
This game's gotten all crazy to me, man. I don't know how I feel about it, because you've got still this like quad core thing going on from Fnatic, but the 3 cores from Liquid just feel like they're that much stronger, and you've got that accentuation of strength coming from the IO as well.
You got the fear of the IO too, right? Like nowhere is safe on the map. You never know.
That is a face that inspires a lot of fear.
They might as well just put that as an IO Arcana. I just want his floating face. That would be great.
Oh, that's a possibility.
ISSA is going to come down here. Maybe try to fake things out here. Set it up for Abed and DJ. He's got the blink. He's got the BKB. And Miracle, he's just saying, come on. I got the Aegis. Give me the black hole.
I saw the Spirit coming back to Dubu over on the side. There's going to be the Torrent, the follow-up coming afterwards from GH.
Jabs is trying to wrap around.
Looking for that combo. They already have the BKB out from the Leshrac as they continue to follow down GH as well as Miracle. If they can kill off the IO, be good, but the relocate comes in. Last second, Black Hole up to the north with the boat landing on top of it as well. Is it enough damage? No! The Ravage comes out on to 4. They're going to call them all out. Now BKB, he's still living. The turnaround comes as DJ is there with the Black Hole. The shackles onto Ice on the side. Means there's not enough damage to throw in afterwards, though. Ice seeing if he can find the secondary kill here onto Miracle. There's going to be the X. They have nothing else to throw.
DJ just TV'd out. He's like, okay, we got it. We got a couple kills. We got the Aegis. Get out. Retreat. And sounds the horn, and his allies do just that. I'm going to call that a pretty nice win there for Fnatic right at the end. They made that fight so chaotic. So many angles coming through. You got Jabs running up the stairs. He's tagging with Weehaw right there by where the wards are planted. He's popping his BKB. BKB's galore. And the team fight recap. It was indeed incredibly messy.
Yeah. Well, and that's what happens when you get into these situations where, you know, everybody's super mobile. There's not a lot of like low cooldown control, as we can see this team fight or replay.
Oh,
right
DJ
here.
right there too. He gets hit by the Ravage, but his blink, he's just to wait, right? Coming back in there, perfectly in there, just to help clean up that last little bit of a double kill and then into the Aegis.
Very, very well played indeed. Now back to live. We still see about the same net worth disparity that we had before.
Gonna run into DJ. Oh, did they not see each other? Wow,
Ships
that
in
was
the night.
close. Okay, yeah. Just you know, we cool. Just pretend you farm, I farm. It's fine.
Don't tell anybody I'm down here. I don't want to be here anymore. So yeah,
he's scanning his way through here. He doesn't have any ops. Gross is on a mission.
Yeah, this guy's crazy.
Shadow Shaman, a good split pushing hero, and of course also one of these heroes that can set up for IO relocates. Like the Bane is the traditional one and the one that you always tend to think of, but they went for the Shadow Shaman instead this game.
Yeah, and you can see DJ doing the smart play, hiding off in the trees, knowing that that's where Kuro might be looking.
He's got that cast range talent now too, so he might be thinking about picking up that Aether lens as soon as he can. It's a tough call between the Aether and the Blink in some games.
There's a couple cool little plays you can do by just dropping wards down in the trees, and then it fills up all the areas, and then you just spot the Enigma.
Yep.
But obviously a high risk, high reward type of play. Zabed thinking about throwing out that Torrent. And mind control. Jason, they'll secure some bounty runes. Relocate in. They're going crazy. Tubu already down, and Ice just out of there.
Another bailout situation here from Fnatic. But they're keeping the gap close. They're not letting this Aghanim's gyrocopter get away from them. which I think is a little bit surprising. Probably speaks to just really DJ, right? I mean, the fact he's got the GPM talent, he's got the Midas, that's what's keeping this net worth close. Perhaps it's a little bit inflated. At the same time, it's hard to overvalue Enigma, of course. When it's DJ, when you make the right plays, and if this guy does get the refresher he's working on, he can single-handedly win a team.
It's really insane how strong that spell is when there just isn't really a counter, particularly if you can find Weehaw in the midst of a fight. There's nothing else for BKB Black Hole.
And he is all in. Spends his last pennies on it. Oh, and a smoke, of course, picked up to go with it.
Oh, on the other side of the map, Liquid together as 3. They're going to smoke up and look for that relocate gank. Obviously, GH and Miracle sitting very close together, ready to come into the fight at a moment's notice. And, well, you gotta be so careful, though. I don't know if they're prepped for this. DJ, double Black Hole available.
Ice has to be really fast here on the Lotus. If Kuro reveals. And,
yeah, they see him now. The rest of his team is so far away.
Oh, he's going right towards them.
They move in. Does have that Lotus Orb for the moment. Chase trying to get away. He misses his chains. Oh, Ice, he's in trouble. He's gonna get Hex, he's gonna get Reapered. And he's going to go down. And the turnaround coming, though. Fnatic, they really want to take this fight. This is bold as brass. They want to find this big Black Hole play, but they don't have their Timbersaw. He's dead for 100 seconds. Jabs goes forward for Weehaw. He already has his BKB. This is looking a little bit testy right now, Dubu.
DJ's
going
pacing
for his Omen. They've already got the sword rewards down as well. Jabs, super low. He's just dead. Fnatic, they're in a terrible position. They managed to find DJ as well. He goes down. Fnatic, a death is not an initiation. As they find themselves another 4 dead and Miracle gets the triple.
I think they feel it slipping away. And they have the same ideas, like what their timings are, and they feel like they maybe capitalize on this. And Weehaw made that call. He just starts pinging. He sees the Enigma, and Mind Control jumps. Just like, if we ravage this guy, and we catch him in the tree line there, we win this team fight.
32 minutes in, only a 2,000 gold lead, but you look at these, no buybacks. They fully invested for that fight.
Yeah, and Ice was so close. I mean, this guy was 80 gold away from a buyback. Potentially, one they might have needed, right, if they had any hope of winning that team fight.
Well, moving up towards the high ground. They don't have wards, but you can see Weehaw's willing to go up there without any creeps even. Liquid smelling fierce, sort of seizing this moment as they move up towards the high ground.
They're not stopping.
They're going.
They want that full tier 3. DJ's going to put a little bit of a question mark on this, I would think. Are they really going to go for the racks?
This is crazy. I mean, they don't have the Kunkka for 20 more seconds, but they do have that double Black Hole, and you can see that Lesh is actually TPing up top already.
They're dancing back and forth a little bit here, but yes, indeed, they will commit, and a full lane will go to Liquid.
Well, heads-up play from them, recognizing that there was just that chance to take the fight. And you can see here, it was set up like they wanted to go for that DJ Black Hole, but Mind Control found him.
It is such a risky play, too. They're trying to take the Timbersaws down, but I can understand, like, they're trying to get them all clumped up. They think they see their moment. There's no sight, and this is right there as DJ just instantly, right there, pinged, boom, got him, guys, get in there. Yeah, see you later, Enigma.
It's so tough. And obviously punished heavily. Liquid, a team that you can't afford to make mistakes against.
Back in the live game, they almost found him again. But no worries there, Miracle, yeah.
They're feeling themselves. DJ getting caught out there.
Pretty much the expected reaction of just like, not find my right moment there, guys. Next one.
Another smoke up. They know that they have all of their abilities yet again. Miracle gets caught. A big jump. This could be their moment as well. They follow through already there. The big Earth Splitter comes through as well. GH super low. They need to find another. Can they get another? Kuro caught again. X Torrent. The combination comes out. And this is all without Black Hole.
That ward into the Ancient Camp.
What?
Well done to spot for the Torrent. Typically a place you expect there to be a sentry, but there was nothing covering it, so they didn't see it from Liquid. Dubu makes the play, and, well, we're there. I mean, this is just like when Ice died. Fnatic look a little stunned. They're kind of running around in circles like, okay, what do we do? Where do we push? Where are we going here, guys?
Roche respawning again in 2 seconds. I mean, they're going to see it, and they're going to go for it. There's no gyrocopter for 35 seconds. Ice runs into Mind Control, going to try and get a little bit testy with them here. See what he can possibly do. But back and forth, the pendulum swings.
I think he's going to lose out on both those bounty runes.
Yeah.
Well, they know the Roche is up. I believe Dubu was in there like seconds before it spawned.
Yeah, that ward you're talking about.
Dubu just kind of chilling the tree line and planting that one down to set things up nice and easy for the team.
It's just so much damage so quickly. That's part of the reason why these BKBs are so valuable, but also they're not immortality. You need to be able to not be stunned to make it work at the beginning.
So they've now brought the top lane and the mid lane right to the sides of this plateau. They've put some wards up that they know are going to get dewarded, right? You got an Observer and a Sentry up on the pillar here for Fnatic, but they're trying to find some good fight here. Miracle just runs in.
Abed's there, DJ ready to jump as well if they want to. Need to be careful though because ISIS is not with them. He's TPing over right now as they already go in. Jabs in super deep up against Mind Control. He needs to be careful when his BKB wears off, but it looks like Liquid just want to back out. Kuro caught and going to be killed.
Great play there from Jabs. Man, Jabs has just been playing solo in these team fights, and it is working.
Yes.
He's really abusing his BKB. He's kind of reading, like, if Miracle's on the other side, I'm just going to try and go mess with the back line. And not the typical, like, position one stuff you expect, because that's not really what this Leshrac is doing for them. He's 4th on the net worth right now.
Yeah.
You know, you got to give some special permissions over to DJ.
It definitely feels like DJ is the real carry in this game. And needs to be the one to hit those big black holes. And even just the threat of it right there, you can see that Liquid not willing to clump up together to try and take the fight. Always just giving up one kill instead of forcing a really bad engagement.
Well, they'll continue to keep these lanes in good stature for themselves here. Miracle forced to drop the call down to try and send them back. We are very aggressively split pushing on the side lanes, but you know, we talked a lot about BKB piercing and everything from the side of Liquid, but Fnatic, they would require the black hole to really deal with this if he wants a BKB TP, or perhaps a Split Earth, I suppose, as well. Sorry, not Split Earth, the Earth Splitter.
You know, as soon as I saw those, I know, messed those up at some point.
Yeah, you knew that was going to happen. You know, Split Earth, if that was BKB piercing, now that would be good.
That's the buff he needs, right? Leshrac needs more buffs.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be so balanced.
Uh-oh. Mind Control again moves forward. The big watermelon daring somebody to go at him. Miracle coming in afterwards. Playing intercept. Ice. Also up front and center. Now facing off against the gyrocopter. Everybody waiting for their moment. A Hex is out as well. Does Mind Control decide to jump? Jabs just runs at him.
They are not
after lift up.
They're so split.
They need to be careful though because there's only 1 or 2 ways down from this high ground, and Miracle now the back line's dropping down very low, pops the BKB, good way to force it out. We are able to find the Reaper sight to turn this one back around. It's a black hole, it's on to nothing! It didn't hit anything! They've got the refresher, but does he have the mana to go back in? He does with their regen rune as well.
He's got Arcane.
Look at this, they're running in all over them. The shackles are there as well. DJ wanting to find a black hole, but look at Liquid! They're beautifully split up, and DJ, it's just gonna fall apart! The Ravage comes down afterwards, Liquid running through Fnatic.
Weehaw spaced himself away there too, and DJ felt the pressure to go on to him. There wasn't a sight, but he turned for it anyway, and Liquid, that whole team fight, Liquid are so far apart. They sent Miracle up there. The only reason he was forced to BKB was because of that Spirit Vessel.
Yeah.
Right? He's trying to like stay alive, keep the damage going, but absolutely masterfully done there from Liquid, and that's why they're one of the best teams, because they look at their opponents and they say, how do we lose this fight? What are these guys trying to do? And you know they're fishing for that black hole, so you just don't give it to them.
Hide away, stay to the side. Doesn't matter if the fight looks weird. You have the sustain on this Liquid team.
I mean, there were moments where they start coming together a little bit, and you could see someone's making this call, like, split, and they're just running in like random directions in the team fight. That doesn't look like the optimal play, but they understand it's the only way for Fnatic.
And you look at these guys, Liquid, cool as a cucumber, just gonna run forward brazenly and say, deal with me, Fnatic. Because right now, they don't have the answers. Kunkka's still dead for 17 seconds. And Timbersaw, he's out of action for a minute. So the tier 3 tower gone. Now looking for the set of racks. And DJ saying, one last ride. Let's see if we can go in there and deal with it.
Oh, Liquid's here. The tide has come in.
25 seconds until Black Hole is up. They have the sleep. Gyrocopter not stopped and hitting the towers because of the INTERCEPTOR. And the building's going. Tier 4 towers, they forced the glyph. Fnatic.
Knock, hello.
They need to have an answer. Still a couple of seconds.
Home?
10 seconds until Black Hole. They need to hold on. The Stomp comes out another round. They're losing everything right now, DJ. Hiding back away again, seeing if he can find a good angle, but it needs to be Liquid that give it to him, and it's not looking like it's gonna happen. Miracle making particle effects fly all over the freaking world as he's gonna get caught out there. Black Hole 1 and 2. Is it actually enough? Is it? No, they interrupted, but they were able to take down the Aegis at the very least. It doesn't look like it's quite going to be there. The Stomp comes out. It wasn't able to time it perfectly. Abed trying desperately to hold on to these racks. They're dropping meteors down from the sky, but Dubu not able to get the Stomp off. They jump in another round. Ice trying desperately to hold on. A triple kill. DJ, can he find his moment? They need to hold on. He jumped forward. The black hole, but he didn't get Miracle. Miracle trying to close out this game. Can they take him down in time? No. The Ancient will fall. And with that, Team Liquid are moving on. Fnatic out of TI9.
They really tried everything they could in those team fights. Couldn't have asked for much more in some of those final moments there, but it just wasn't enough. Team Liquid, they held on through that storm that was coming from the side of Fnatic, and they washed away what was left of the Dire team.
Well, you can see Team Liquid able to take the victory there. Impressive showing from them, indeed. And a little bit of love from the crowd there.
They don't get that worked up, I feel like, until they actually win the whole thing at tournaments. They are pretty chill, right? Yeah. Be like water, my friend, that sort of deal. I think this one means a lot. Of course, it's a best of one, so it's always me extremely hype and stuff, but, you know, these guys, they don't want to be. They don't feel like a first-round lower bracket team.
No. Well, definitely. And unfortunate for Fnatic here as well, dropping out at the early stage, but it does mean that obviously a winner and loser always happens. We're going to head back to the desk, hear more about it.
Yeah, I think one of the first things that pops into my mind when you do see Liquid able to hang on here, you didn't expect to see them in the best of one. They're one of the few squads that has the potential to create a few two-time TI champions. The other thing that jumps off the page to me when we actually look at that game, and Kyle, you were one of the people that really pointed this out, we have a Necro in it, and Necro is going to be synonymous with Matu, who could have been one of the other people to be going for that two-time TI. Now they're playing that same hero without Matu.
Yeah. It feels a little bit odd, but they got the win, right? Like, if you lose that game, you're really looking back at this. You're like, we fell back at this draft, and then we lost with it. But they get the win, you move on to BO3s, and it becomes a lot, not easier, but it feels a lot better now for Liquid.
Yeah, I could see the right decision-making in the end, going for tier 4 towers instead of going for mega creeps, where they actually see that they can end the game. They have all the buybacks. Wisp goes in, and Miracle dodges that black hole to finish off the game. If he died there, this game could have dragged a little bit more. A lot of sustain, and once the Spirit Vessel was on, that changed the whole game.
Yeah, and it reminded me of, you know, you could see the potential for the Manila Major magic of Fnatic. They had that epic 62-minute game against PSG LGD in the upper bracket before they were PSG, actually. And I thought maybe if he gets Gyro, there's a possibility. Liquid fans have got to be breathing a huge sigh of relief, because I cannot imagine the backlash if Liquid go to this Necro and get eliminated.
100%.
But in this scenario, they've been here before, right? When they won TI7, it was mostly through the lower bracket gauntlet. Like, this is a position Kuro's been in before. You can't count out this team, even though their group stage was a bit iffy.
Yeah, and now I do want to take an opportunity to start to set the stage. We're going to have Casey here in a few moments with GH to actually talk about everything. But what does this kind of indicate to you when you start to see them fall back on a draft? That's obviously something that they did before they made the roster change. Is it still comfort for some of the players on the squad? Like, does it indicate anything moving forward?
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's vintage Liquid. If you could think of a Liquid, like,
Pure
that's
Liquid.
it.
I owe Gyro just first pick, right? That's Liquid, yeah.
All right, well, a little bit of insight from us here, but let's actually jump down and hear what Casey has to say.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, GH, congratulations. I could see the relief on your face as you exited those pods. Can you walk us through how this feels? I know it's got to be a lot harder coming in lower bracket than upper bracket, which I know is something you're used to from TI8 too.
Well, yeah, it's not ideal going into the lower bracket, especially if it's a best of one. So the nerves and the pressure gets to you. I wouldn't say we panicked or anything. We were trying to take the game one game at a time. We're trying to focus on what's next, what's upcoming. Even though it's not perfect situation for us to be in the lower bracket, but we're still trying to play our game that we all love.
Are you able to hear the support of the audience? I mean, it's obvious that there are a lot of fans here. And that's what's so beautiful about Dota, right? People travel all over the world to see their favorite people play the best Dota.
Yeah, it's amazing having fans. TI has always been one of the best stages in the world to play on. I remember my TI7 experience was one of a kind, and I'm trying to repeat that ever since.
What did you learn through group stage that you think were the biggest lessons that you're applying to main stage?
What I learned is more like life lessons more than Dota lessons. So I learned that communication is extremely important whenever it comes to team games, and especially with the way Dota has evolved, it's more a team game more than ever right now. So what I learned is listening to my teammates. Sometimes we have to swallow our egos and not look at what we want, just basically look at what's best for the game or what the others are saying. That's what I learned.
I love that perspective, and I'm going to use that as a chance to ask you something that people talk about a lot when it comes to TI, which is there or isn't there a specific TI meta where, yes, you have your season, but then as soon as group stage starts, some magic seems to happen and everybody plays their own Dota, and sometimes it looks a lot different.
Thing is, we keep talking about this thing called meta, which I don't really believe in. I feel like every single team can create their own, let's call it meta as well. They just need to play good. If they do something good, then it will show up as a new meta. But I don't believe really in this word as meta, so I don't think all the teams have to play in one certain way to win the games. I feel like every single team can do what they believe is right and win the game if they do it correctly.
Just stay focused on playing your Dota.
Exactly. They focus on playing what they think is best.
Are you focused on the next match, or are you going to give yourself a moment to relax and decompress?
I mean, honestly, I don't think we have enough time to relax and decompress, so we're going to go back, probably have some dinner, and prepare for the upcoming day.
What are you going to eat? What's for dinner?
This is looking rough, actually. I love Italian food, so I would say pizza, but pizza on the stomach right now doesn't do justice. So I think I won't do pizza. I'll do something a bit less fatty.
Like a salad, maybe?
Preferably not.
Okay, not a salad.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, go for a healthy pizza.
No. Maybe some chicken or some meat.
Okay, keep it simple.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, GH. Back to you guys.
Hey, nothing tastes better than victory, and ultimately he already did get a little bit of that for supper. I think JH obviously is talking about a lot of things that are really important, that when we see how some of the top tier teams really do think, we always do get back to meta. I think it's something that we talk about a lot on panels. I think it's something that the community tends to talk a lot about as well, and it's basically the idea of how the game is played currently. That's what meta typically is, but it very quickly devolves into how the game should be played, is how it's discussed.
There's so many undiscovered themes in the game that you can't really call it meta. If it's like 3-1-1 lanes, we can call that meta. Some heroes are picked a lot, but there's other stuff in the game, the undiscovered stuff like OG, who has different understanding of the game right now.
Definitely. And now I do want to jump down to the floor. We have Shaver with Ice Ice Ice.
Yes, thank you very much, Rich. Ice, you started this dude. He was very chipper when he came here, by the way. He's trying to be extra sad. But you started this year really well with your squad. What happened that it didn't end up working out?
What? I guess we played bad and we couldn't find the right meta for the tournament. So halfway throughout the group stage, I think we sort of figured it out. I think we did well on the first day, and then we fell off, and second day we totally fell. So third, fourth day we kind of figured out how we want to play, and I guess we just couldn't maintain it.
And the whole year has been a little ups and downs. How do you look back on the year, on this season?
It would be nice to have more majors in Asia. Yeah, I like Asia majors. Yeah. I'm afraid of flying.
Okay, well, having it near, that would be better for you. Because that brings me to the next question. Have you even considered this result for you and your squad? And have you even thought about what is next for you?
I guess I did consider this result based on the performance on the group stage. And kind of also based off from our streams and practice. But I thought we could have went further, maybe top 6 to 8, if we kind of maintain the top performance, the consistency that we kind of lack always. Yeah. So yeah, it's I don't feel that bad because we played bad, in the game, and you could say we choked, and so the loss came off. The loss came off better compared to last year. Yeah, last year I wanted Artifact, but there's no new games this year, so it's
All right. Do you have anything to say to your fans? You've got a lot of fans in all different regions. What do you want to say to them?
be happy. Yeah, I mean, life's good too. I did.
All right, short but sweet. Back to you, Rich.
Even in defeat, Ice is always one of the most entertaining personalities, not only in Dota, but just that I think a lot of us have ever encountered. But now we are getting ready to set the stage for another best of one. We have 2 more best of ones today. The next one is going to be Infamous versus Keen.
好，感谢3位来接受我们采访。那首先问一下 ，KG 也是在 TI8之后，为数不多的中国队没什么人员变动的，那可以告诉我们你们的秘诀在哪里吗？
可能就是就算成绩不是很好，然后我们也是只是觉得我们还没有磨合好，所以我们就一直就是一起打，就这样。
卡师傅好像这个笑里面藏了点什么秘密啊？
没有，我觉得我们互相默契啊，然后配合打得都挺好的，然后就继续打。
但是其实 KG 的前半年不是特别的顺利，然后后半年呢是打了一个 minor， 然后还打了2个 major。你们是觉得什么原因忽然之间就醒了？
没啥吧，就是大家一起相处的久了嘛，就打的也变好了，配合也变默契了。
那在这期间，
我觉得不是啊，我觉得再打不好就要被踢了，所以球员都很努力啊。
就感觉压力比较大，打不好就会被踢，所以就很努力的去打了。你觉得哪个队友让你觉得不是很满意？
我觉得我自己没打好，有点多前面后腿啊。
那其实这一整年你们印象最深的一个赛或者说一个事情是什么？
感觉是巴黎Major吧，因为巴黎那个迪士尼很好玩吧，都一起去了。
意思玩的都记得，痛苦的瞬间都不记得了。昂哥，你有没有觉得这个赛季什么时候比较难熬？
就最近吧。
最近。
就备战TI。
备战TI会很辛苦吗？对于 KG 来说？
对，就每天起来比较早，感觉睡不够，就比较难熬。
那这个赛季有没有哪个人的哪句话让你印象最深刻的？
我印象深的是文卡卡，他说他表现大腿肌不丢人。
哪个比赛啊？
忘记哪个比赛，反正打完之后他说他的表现应该是大腿肌不丢人吧。
那看来你是不太同意啊，不记得。王哥呢？
我就想起来，梁志说他现在还在上升期嘛。
梁志，你觉得你还在上升期吗？
我觉得我在还在很努力的上升。
好，我们也希望 KG 能够在这一次的 TI 当中上升得更高。那你们在膨胀的时候，谁会压住你们？
到现在应该还没
膨胀过吧？
不敢膨胀。什么样的成绩你们会比较满意？会觉得哎，我可以膨胀一下？
至少得Major冠军吧，这种级别吧，才有资格吧。
没有成绩不敢呼吸是吧？好，那其实作为12支战队最后一个被指摇的队伍，你们作为这个守门员，感觉怎么样？当时的第一感受是什么？
能不能进去全靠混吧，全看别人的脸色，感觉很不好。
老季呢？
还挺开心的吧，不用打预选。
当时在边吃西瓜边看预选的感觉怎么样？看中国区预选的感觉？
挺开心的，看他们就一顿打。
但是今年 TI 在上海，有没有感觉哪里不一样？
就感觉，就是要打得更好吧，要不然你的微博很可能会被爆破吧。
都不敢走在场馆里是吧？
就是很明显的失误就一定不能犯，然后就会鞭策自己。
今年 TI 现场一定会有很多热情的中国粉丝，那你们觉得谁的呼声会最大？你们队伍？
老实一和卡卡吧。
我的兄弟吧，我觉得，我的兄弟比较有名。
谁呀？
就是我的一个我的chicken。我的兄弟。
狼哥呢？
就他们。
那你们对于现在备战 TI 其他的队伍有什么样的看法？觉得哪些队伍会是夺冠热门？
那肯定危机，感觉。
我觉得除了我们以外，其他3个队都有机会拿冠军吧，因为他们都挺强的。
对，我也是这么觉得，就其他队伍都很强。
远方那个国外队你怎么看？
国外队都很厉害啊，感觉。
感觉秘密战队最强吧，应该是国外最强的战队。
这样，我们想一想，往好的方面想，对不对？好的方面想，给自己定个目标吧。今年 TI
冠军，
前6吧。
前6。
其实前6就已经可以了。
我定的冠军啊。
大哥发话了，狼哥觉得呢？
我都行，我都行。
很随意
啊，对。
这个人是不是在你们队伍平时也很滑呀？认真一点，觉得你没关系，哪怕冠军也没关系，你自己的 TI 目标。
就是没有明确的目标。
没有目标，打好就可以了。
啊，对，就这样。
好，我们也是希望 KG 能够如梦一场，对吧？打到决赛，谢谢。
Well, you heard it from Keen already, starting to talk about what their expectations would be if they can continue to move forward, or if they do actually face a defeat. One of the big things that they're concerned about is getting their Weebos blown up by the fans. But I think that the other side of that is how much they are actually being driven by all the fans here in the stadium. And to take it a step further, we look at the region as a whole. China's already having a pretty darn good performance at TI. Yeah. They've already locked up the fact that they're going to have at least somebody playing on that final day, guaranteeing top 3. But let's take a look at Keen before they actually jump into this next best of 1. Folks, you're going to hear the stadium get loud right now as we welcome Keen to the main stage. This is one of the teams that has been doing their region very proud, and we're going to have to see if they're going to make it to see another day of play. If you're just tuning in right now, you've already missed a few grueling best of 1s. We got 2 more in store. We've already talked quite a bit about all things Keen. I think one of the other things that we started to talk about, Kyle, is the idea that this is the TI where we have that potential to maybe see a 2-time. But this time around, we got to talk about some of the young guys in Infamous. Folks, help me in welcoming Infamous. Right now, this is a team that's going to have a very different vibe than what we see on the side of Keen. And a lot of these teams, though, as well, that we start talking about the idea that they have that potential to 2-time, right? When you do look at Infamous, you need to be thinking about the fact that they are the youngest team in Dota. Kyle, this is a squad made up of a lot of people here for the first time at a TI, but let's talk about just how young these guys truly are.
I love the confidence from Hector. You talked about it. Second youngest player at TI, and I have talked to multiple teams who think he's been playing the best as a 1 position at this tournament. Yeah. Unreal confidence. He's got this new twist on how to carry. He'll be teleporting from like shrines to tier 1s just to slightly increase his efficiency. He's a ton of fun to watch and really innovative.
He is, as you said, a lot of people are saying he's the best carrier. I love Schofield. Schofield, the 4-player, you know, he has been around probably the longest of all of them, and he has shown his Tiny and his Magnus are super, super scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now one of the things that we want to do as well is actually hear what the players have to say. We have Infamous, a team made up of some of the youngest players in Dota.
Schofield and Stinger of Infamous, welcome.
Hola, gracias.
Hola, ¿cómo está ustedes?
Buenas.
You noticed the ages.
Ya, sí, estamos ansiando tenerlo así para el equipo, ¿no?
I want to start by asking you about Dota in South America, because it is very popular, and I know that people watching TI9 are going to be very proud to see you play, and I'm wondering how you feel about that.
Pues la gente en Sudamérica es como que bien apasionada por el juego, al menos en nuestro país, en Perú, hay bastantes cabinas y toda esa gente es que pues les gusta el juego al igual que nosotros y pues nos sentimos bien, ¿no?, de representarlos y
nos están apoyando mucho.
Ya, a ver, uno por otras cosas también que juego Dota es porque, ¿sabes? Por la gente, por los fans, o sea, me gusta representarlos.
How long have the two of you played together?
3 meses.
¿Solamente 3 meses?
2 meses, pero nos conocemos también antes. Estuvimos en el Infamous, que estuvo en el DPC del 2017 al 2018. Y ahí jugamos también como que unos 5 meses, más o menos.
No one on your team has experienced TI before. So what do you expect?
Pues esperamos encontrar desafíos, un montón de emociones que nos vamos a encontrar aquí, estamos seguros. Y pues lo principal creo que es hemos venido a divertirnos.
There is some positives to coming into TI with no prior experience in a way. Do you feel like that enables you to just kind of play Dota and focus on your Dota and not worry so much about TI being this enormous thing?
Pues sí, ajá, lo vemos como que de esa manera, como que más divertirnos, ¿no? Jugando Dota, porque es lo que venimos haciendo. Y claro, una meta no es así clasificar al TI, lo conseguimos, estamos muy felices, pero sí, al final del día sigue siendo solo jugar Dota, ¿no? Entonces sí sentimos eso, ¿no? Creo que sí, otros equipos tal vez tienen un prestigio que cuidar, ¿no? Tal vez un top al que llegar, pero nosotros nos sentimos más libres.
How do you think that the South American Dota 2 scene can grow?
Para que crezca la escena pro, yo creo que sería aumentar, no sé, los torneos para equipos tier 2, ¿no? De allá, para que los equipos se esfuercen más, para que haya más equipos.
But you can still win. Anything can happen at TI. You've earned your spot here before we start group stage as one of the top 18 teams. Are there any other players here that you're really excited to meet that you've maybe watched in previous TIs?
En personal, como que ya los he visto, ¿no? Antes, entonces sí es bueno verlos de nuevo, ver alguna especie de química que tienen otros equipos interesantes, como por ejemplo, no sé, a mí me gusta la vibra que tiene Liquid, por ejemplo.
O sea, yo cuando jugué Dota no conocía que había buenos jugadores, o sea, jugaba Dota y simplemente porque era un juego nada más y crecí jugando Dota sin saber, sin admirar a nadie, o sea, simplemente jugaba y ya, se puede decir. O sea, no es que desprecien, no son buenos, no, pero igual no lo veo eso, simplemente juego.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Buenas tardes.
Gracias. No hay más preguntas.
Quiero más preguntas.
You know, instantly we start to hear what it might actually feel like to be competing at your first TI, right? And we've already seen today some mistakes that can happen on that TI main stage. Obviously, we heard Alliance talk about that little hiccup that did happen that could have costed them their game, and not only that game, their TI run. What's it like to be competing up on a stage like this for the first time? Do you think we may be looking at any mistakes happening?
I love the confidence from them, which should allow them to not make mistakes because they're coming into this. We're just playing the game. We're not fans of any of the teams. We respect them, but we don't care who we play. And you don't expect this from a team like an Infamous. Throughout the year, they grew. At the end of the season, they swapped some of the players. But if you watch the qualifiers, this is the team that looked extremely strong. And you mentioned the Hector, his farming pattern. I think these are the best ones in the game right now. What he does, no one else is doing it.
Yeah, and we saw that even in the group stage. They came out against EG in the groups. They lost the first game. Second game, they come out. Bulba tries that whole Almond draft, the same stuff again, and Infamous just crushed them.
Yeah.
They played the exact same way, even after dropping a game, which is a new twist. A lot of times, South American teams, they don't have that fortitude, that discipline. And honestly, these guys have kind of come out of nowhere. Like, I don't think anyone expected them to have that sort of run in the group stage. They had a real chance to be upper bracket.
Yes. Yep. I think one of the biggest things is your mid player, right? You honestly want a super cocky young mid player, and we watched him at Dota Pit. Chris Luck, this dude, he will throw it all on the line. I mean, they lost the game at 15 minutes because he died a couple times middle, but you'd rather him give it his all and just like go into it, just balls to the walls.
Especially if you feel like that is the high percentage player, right? And taking that risk, even though sometimes it's going to not pay off.
Yeah.
If it's the right play, it's the right play.
Gotta do it.
And you need somebody who does have that metal to go for it. I do want to go back to getting up on the stage and all of a sudden be competing against, even if they say that they haven't followed the players, when you're suddenly in a scenario where you're playing against players who have a long track record, it seems like to me it would be quite a difficult thing to do. I know, for example, like I found out that I might be on a panel with Dendi and I nearly pissed my pants, right? Like it's a legend. When you're up next to a legend, it's going to be in the back of your mind, especially when you grow up being a fan. You've been in scenarios where you've played against people that you knew of. Did you ever?
I thought you were going to go the different way.
I thought you were going to say, you've peed your pants before, right, Kyle? What's that like? No.
Kyle, I would never do that to you. But
yes, you would.
Seriously, I do want to know, like, have you ever been in a scenario where you're up on the main stage and all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, it's this player. Like, I've watched them forever.
I think, you know what's funny is actually probably with Dendi. It's the only time. Because the TI5 was my first Dota LAN, and that's just like this iconic Dota personality, right? We've got him on the English and the Russian panels for that reason. Like, the guy is, I'd say, the closest thing we have to an ambassador for Dota, right?
He just is Dota.
Yeah, and it's tough. You gotta remember, at the end of the day, it's just a game. It's just Dota. It doesn't matter what a legend is. My line, you know, if he's stunned, it doesn't matter if it's Denny. It's the same as Nahaz playing Dota. Like, just because somebody is incredible doesn't mean that they're going to be able to just single-handedly wipe the floor with you. You've got to just ignore it.
I use this confident underdog term, I think, a couple of times already, and this is how I would describe Infamous. Like, they're in a state where we really don't care who we play, but we're going to do our best to win. But one thing that concerns me, it's only best of one. If it was a best of three, I think they would have definitely won this series, because in best of one, anything can happen. As you mentioned, they GG'd out in 15 minutes. So if they make a mistake, lose the laning stage, it can really go bad for them.
So you're saying that maybe they have like more volatile strategies, or?
Yeah, I think they're really prepared for this one.
Yeah,
okay.
And I think the thing with Infamous, right, you kind of know what they're going to play. Like, you know Hector's going to play a Phase Boots Midas here. You know Chris Luck is going to play a Shadow Fiend, like a kind of tempo-controlling middle, but they still continue to beat you because they play it so well.
Yeah, I do want to say, too, I think it was really Tsunami who liked to talk about it a lot, just the idea that he feels like some of these teams potentially have the chance to be stronger in best of ones because of how they play. Do you think that that's something that could happen here?
I honestly think that might favor Keen a little bit. I really like Dark as a 5 and a captain.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it's really hard because you never really know how to predict who comes out with more or less confidence in a BO1, because there's two different philosophies, right? There's, okay, let's stick to our comfort. What got us here, we believe in it.
Yeah.
Or there's, okay, let's pull out a pocket strat.
Let's go.
You know, like VP earlier today, pulling out the Dazzle mid.
Yeah.
Like,
but in an elimination match, anything can happen. You might misclick a hero and then you lose because of it. So
too soon.
Shaky hands.
It is important to bring up.
Yeah, it
right?
is.
Like, it is like one of those mistakes that can just come to haunt you. And I feel like, and this is I do kind of want to lean on you guys for this. That's obviously like a well-defined mistake that you hear in the interview. You actually hear you hear Insania say, okay, like, this is the problem that did happen. When you're watching Dota and maybe you're not as used to watching it, how do you think it is easiest to pick up on some of those big mistakes?
Well, other than go on the Reddit match thread?
Yeah, that probably is.
I just personally ask Grant. I think he's at least on this panel, the expert.
I go over to Lacoste.
Nah, I would go back to Rich.
Wow.
Rich, you want to finish it?
I would go back to Lacoste.
He always finishes early.
I think we're getting ready to actually jump into the action here shortly. I wish. Production just goes, not yet. You're all on your own. Oh, my goodness. Let's actually...
I was just going to say, I want to go to, like, the 5s and the captains, because you have Stinger. Stinger is probably, like, the most OG of the players on Infamous. And Dark, like I said, I think I love him as a captain. Like, one of the few, like, I really look up to, and I'm like, this guy just drafts really good. And I mean, they snuck into the last spot, right? Yep. Direct qualification because of some of his drafts.
Yeah. No, hear me out. It's Young 11. Either he wins the game, looks like the best player on the field, or you're asking yourself, what is this guy doing? Why is he even playing the game? Like, there's a huge variety of the stuff that he can do, but if he's playing on a blink initiating hero, I think they got this. Young 11, don't underestimate him.
Sure, but Dark's the man. Like, his coming out was GSC Thailand. Remember when he was playing with Keen as the off-laner? He didn't get paid for that event, but he did get noticed. And since then, he's taken the reins for this team. He is the hard support, the captain, places almost all the wards. You'll see him drawing on the map. He's a super vocal captain. I think he's like the up-and-coming 5-position superstar in China.
Yeah.
And regardless of the results, I think he'll have a bright future.
No, I was just going to say, he's just super underrated. Right? Like, if you go into any, like, Western, like, just Twitter or Reddit, you guys say, like, no one talks about him. and he is that good. So like, I think he's just flying under the radar, and he's going to be really impressive for years to come.
And that can definitely be something that it plays into his advantage. You did bring up wards, and I remember on my first panel ever in Dota, Lacoste brought up a very important point about wards that I think everybody at home should definitely know, and that's the fact that you're not supposed. They don't do damage, correct?
Yeah, you don't buy wards because they don't deal damage. That's how you teach Dota to someone who's new. You buy the items, a Dagon, something fun, Midas.
That's how you win. Damage, damage, damage.
All right, well, let's see if that does come into play because we're about to jump into our next best of one. The players are ready to get this started.
Infamous versus Keen Gaming. Game 1.
It's time now to get ourselves ready for the draft. Infamous versus Keen Gaming, another best of one, gentlemen. Gunnar, Febby. Febby, what do you think? First impressions of this match, what do we have in store for ourselves?
Oh, I've been keeping quite an eye on the Infamous. Yeah. They've been playing really fearless, so I'm expecting some great Dota out of them. South American Dota, they always like turn out with like big resorts. They're kind of the underdogs most of the events, but I think this event they're not gonna be the underdogs.
Especially in a best of one, right? Isn't
yeah,
that
especially
the known thing. South America in a best of one. You don't want to
think
face that.
That's like a intimidation factor where they're versing this opponent who's just gonna be like, man, Infamous, this is a scary team because they outperformed most people's expectations already.
Oh
in the
yeah,
group
they went 5-5 at the start. You know, they got almost upper bracket. I think maybe 1 point off from upper bracket.
Outside of scores, like their quality of Dota has been up par with tier 1 teams sometimes. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, when they're playing their best. So.
Are there certain players you think have stood out for them, or has it just been a whole team thing?
Their whole team's playing pretty good, but I think Whisper, their core players impress me the most, especially Whisper. I've always seen them come up with unorthodox lanes and just beat their opponent with it.
I think even like Schofield does a lot for the team as the 4. He picks heroes that aren't in the meta. He picks like Tusk and Nyx Assassin. He plays pretty fast with his team. I think he calls a lot of moves in the game from what I've heard. So I think he's kind of a big hero for them.
All right, well, we are getting ourselves into the draft. I mean, key heroes as far as Infamous and Keen Gaming are concerned, what kind of stands out as the heroes to look for? We do already have a first pick Enchantress. Something, Febby, you were saying Infamous prioritized this really high.
Yeah, Whisper is a beast on that hero. I think he might be like the top 3 Enchantresses in this tournament as position 3, so... Yeah, first pick it.
You got to imagine they have a plan for dealing with it. I mean, we already see Keen pick up these 2 heroes. Is this purely just the heroes that are meant to lane and beat the Enchantress, Gunnar?
Kind of, yeah. The Death Ward, once Witch Doctor gets 6, doesn't get slowed by Untouchable. So it kind of deals with the Enchantress in the early mid game. The PA as well, she has miss. You can't hit her with Impetus.
It doesn't hurt. It also helps that King Gaming picks Witch Doctor quite a lot, so they're in their comfort zone, which is really important, I think, in these BO1s. Comfort heroes are the best that you want to go for.
Even the PA, they played that in many of their group stage games. I think I cast 2 of their series, and they played PA in like 3 of the 4 games.
Yeah, Old Chicken really loves that hero. The way he plays that hero, half of the times he would go battle free, and the other half he would just like fight early and let Old 11 farm.
So one of the concerns of Infamous in the group stage was they kind of picked similar strategies in most of their games. They would have Hector on a Midas Radiance carry. If not, he was still on a Midas carry, and he would kind of farm and maybe go pick off. And Wraith King's his top 2 carries of the tournament right now. He's one of the few teams and few players that picks it, and they already picked it.
Would you say it's 100% his hero? They're not going to do anything weird, put it as a support or anything like that?
I don't think they would. I think Hector's a beast on that hero. He's gotten, I think, like 12, 13-minute Radiance Midas. It's crazy what he does in that hero.
So I was talking about comfort heroes. I think those 2 heroes, it's a little bit weird that we're seeing the cores too early, but those 2 heroes are definitely Infamous's comfort heroes.
You would rather see a team picking to their comfort zone than just, picking what's meta or what other teams are picking.
Yeah, I mean, look at OG last year. Like, even though the
even this year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Wisp carry,
Yeah, even though like the game looks good for a certain hero, it's not good like if you can't play 100% on that hero. So
I mean, I think that's something every team is taking away because we're seeing the same from Keen. First to pick PA, that's kind of unheard of. I don't think many people coming to this TI would have expected to rate PA highly, let alone a first 2 pick.
Yeah, I like it. These teams, they're going out with a bang. They're going out with heroes. Like one of them's gonna get eliminated, sadly. So one of them, they're gonna get eliminated with their best heroes.
Well, Keen Gaming at Kunkka is something that they were usually prioritizing in the first 2, but slipping through to the second stage. Some flexibility here with a mid as well as off lane. It's no longer just that mid lane specialist.
It also deals with Wraith King skeletons. If you ever try to push a tower, one Tidebringer, you kind of clear them all down. Gives you X marks the spot, is really good against all these melee kind of kiteable carries like Sven, Wraith King, Troll. You kind of X the carry, he gets pulled back, you know, he waits 4 seconds, so the initial fight, he gets torrented, that's another second, boated, that's another second. Now half the fight is over and he's just stood in one place.
Yeah. Are there certain mids that you like to play against the Kunkka? We saw Liquid use the Necrophos Gunner. What else comes to mind when you see a Kunkka in the
Well,
opposing
the infamous mid laner Chris Luck, all his heroes are actually really good against Kunkka.
Okay.
He really likes playing Slark mid, he likes playing Monkey mid, he plays a decent amount of Ember mid. So I think these heroes, he's gonna probably pick one of them. It's a comfort pick. I don't know if now, because they've already picked 2 cores, but later I like to see a Slark so far.
Slark already banned out in the second stage. I think they were ready for that. They've obviously done their homework and seen him play that mid slot.
What I'm kind of worried for them is the Infamous' mid heroes. They're usually a single target, and right now Enchantress single target, Wraith King single target. So I'm kind of worried for their team fight if their mid is a single target.
Yeah, and whatever mid they pick, King Gaming with the final pick of the draft get that kind of counter pick if they want to put Kunkka offlane.
Yeah, right now I would say Infamous they're thinking about how to not get out team fought. And they aim Tusk. Tusk is pretty good against PA, can control the PA's BKB pretty nice.
Also good against Kunkka. You can dodge his X combos on your cores if you get a snowball. I think it's also a comfort hero. They're kind of picking all their comfort heroes right now. It's a Schofield. He's played that hero a lot.
Nothing we've seen in this draft is like, ooh, that's new from this team. So, I mean, a good sign overall as far as playing on the TI main stage. This is Infamous's first TI ever for all of these players. So, definitely some pressure, even though obviously there's not expectations from a lot of fans for this team to go far.
It's a little interesting Rubik pick, I think. There's not many good spells to steal. It's mostly Wraith King stun, kind of the best that, you know, kind of shouts out to me, but I think that might be a comfort hero for their 4.
Yeah, they already have a team fight on their mid player, Kunkka, so Kaka plays a beastly Rubik. I think it's an all-around position 4. It kind of suits everything, you know? So.
Do you feel good playing Rubik even in these games where there's no amazing spells to steal?
As long as there's a team fight, I think it's okay, because it's an instant stun, it counters, like, it doesn't counter BKB, but you can like lift him and kind of burst him, because right now, they do have a lot of bursts from King Gaming. PA, Tide, PA, Kunkka, I mean, so, yeah.
Yeah, just a lift into like maybe a basher from the PA or even a torrent from the Kunkka.
You just gotta be careful and be aware of Tusk C.
Ooh, this makes things a bit different. Are we seeing Batrider support here? What's the expectation with this hero pick? A mid laner, an off laner, putting entrance support? Because
some teams this tournament run Enchantress 5, and they try to pull it away from the 3 if it looks like a bad game.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I've seen Infamous do that with the Enchantress, but I know Whisper also likes to play Batrider a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did it. It's more surprising that Whisper is not playing the Enchantress than they're putting him on the bat.
This feels like a good hero to play against the PA in lane. You can kind of bully her maybe.
It's good against all the heroes. Rubik is okay against it, but like stealing any of his spells are pretty bad, besides Lasso.
Yeah,
it's easy to defend it too. So.
Okay.
Yeah, Enchantress Wraith King pick kind of makes sense now, because 2 of them can't be core.
Yeah, well, maybe this is the switch up that Infamous catch King by surprise. Yeah, they first picked this Enchantress that they've only run core primarily. King Gaming counterpick it, and it's like, hey, Ench is no longer a core hero. We're going to just play it as a support.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm a bit worried for the Batrider's game, because there's Rubik and Kunkka on the other side of the team. In the team fight, Batrider is going to have a very hard time initiating and pulling away the targets. There's X, there's the instant Rubik lift when he blinks into Lasso. So yeah, he's got to really snowball off the lanes here against the PA.
The other thing that's really scary for Infamous right now is both of King's cores really like to go BKB early. And BKB is really good against all the 4 heroes of Infamous right now. Batrider doesn't do anything to you besides Lasso. Tusk can only punch you. Enchantress, she just dies in a couple hits. Wraith King, sure, he can live through BKB. He'll be able to fight after it. But the others, I'm a little scared of this Kunkka and this PA get an early BKB.
Are Infamous looking to get something that either deals with BKBs or gives them some more team fight? Because it feels like they do not match up to King Gaming in terms of team fight right now.
Yeah, all of them are single targets, so I'm kind of worried about that. I think they need a team fight hero, the last pick.
I think they could also pick one of his heroes that goes on the backline.
Yep.
He always picks these like heroes that are more melee than range, and he picks more like assassin type heroes. These heroes that go in, try to kill a support in the backline, maybe disengage, re-engage on the fight.
That's what some of those bans are targeted at, like the Ember, the Slark.
Ember, Slark, even like Tiny if they've ever run a mid. This Rubik and this Witch Doctor I think are most important. I think this Kunkka and the PA, once they get the BKBs, they're going to have to focus the Wraith King. Hector's going to get some Midas, some Radiance. He's going to have to be their front line. And once he is on the front line, they're going to have to be scared of him. And I think Chris Lux here is going to have to kind of, utilize that being scared.
Templar Assassin. You literally has Assassin in the name.
Yeah. I like it. It matches up well versus Kunkka mid. The only bad thing is if you get torrented, you lose your refraction, but neither here can deny anymore.
Okay.
So the lane's actually a real lane now.
Everyone gets to farm.
Yeah.
It's amazing against Witch Doctor Rubik too. Those two squishy supports.
Even PA, you like going Bloodthorn or MKB on the hero since you basically only go physical, or like pure physical damage on their items.
Yeah, so you have a way to deal with the evasion of the PA, so. All right, well, that's a pick that's going to give Keen Gaming some questions to answer here with their 10th pick of the draft. They have that flexibility with Kunkka, so we could see the Kunkka go to the off lane if they want to, and they can pick up a mid, or they can stick with the mid Kunkka, grab an off laner. That's what Infamous think. They ban out the bat.
This Batrider pick is actually so cool from Infamous. If you think about it, it kind of bans Keen's Batrider. Because normally you want a Batrider versus TA. His Sticky Napalm and Firefly go through the refraction really quickly. So Infamous taking the bat is also, I think, another ban that they get from Keen.
Yep.
Which is really smart.
Keen Gaming looking to use up all that reserve time, thinking through their options.
The most ideal pick for King Gaming, I think, here would be some tower hitter from Old 11. Right now, they're kind of lacking the tempo maker / tower hitter. Sure, Kunkka can make some tempo, but I think they are lacking on the tower hit department.
I feel like there's not many offlaners that bring that to the table, though.
What about an Underlord?
King Gaming likes Underlord, so I can see that happen.
He builds Halberd, he can build Pipe pretty easily, has a way to deal with the skeletons in the early game.
Ooh. Omni Knight, though. Blocking all that physical damage. Do you guys like this as a last pick? How do you feel this rounds out that draft?
The GA is going to stop the BKB timing from the TA in the mid game. He can stop the Batrider lasso as well. I give an edge to him. To the King draft.
I think King Gaming realizes this Race King is going to go Midas Radiance. It's going to be very late, so they're going to up the tempo. I'm going to be very surprised if PA gets Battle Fury here. I think he's just going to want to go run in early game.
Well, we're going to see these two teams go head-to-head. It is a best-of-1 elimination match. Before we get ourselves into it, we're going to hear some final thoughts from Purge on how these two teams match up.
It's going to be an interesting match, that's for sure. Infamous with an interesting lineup. The Wraith King was something they've been picking consistently throughout the tournament, and that's because it allows them to early shift from the safe lane to the off-lane tower and then take that very quickly using skeletons. So in the early game, maybe before the 10-minute mark, keep an eye out for that happening on the map. In terms of the mid and late game team fights, because there isn't that many AoE spells on either side, it's going to become a game of trying to pick off the enemy supports. So the strong core heroes from either team are going to jump to the back line and try to kill those heroes to prevent them from stopping their heroes from doing things. So it might be a bit of a game of cat and mouse. The Tusk can save the heroes on Infamous, and on the other side, maybe they can use their disables effectively or use the Omni to offset the initiation that Infamous is going for. So it's going to be a very action-packed game. Make sure that you guys stay tuned, and we are going to throw it over to Cap and Blitz.
It's hard to be able to beat the best-of-1 phase. Eliminations on the line here at TI. This is absolutely one of the most fun times to be able to cast Dota, and one of the most heartbreaking. The best-of-1 between Infamous and Keen. The South American representatives who have been turning up at the group stage weren't able to get the top 4, but are still here and trying to make history for South America, as no team has managed to make it past this best-of-1 phase coming out of the South American region. Maybe Infamous has the best shot to be able to do it here.
Yeah, and on the flip side, you have almost the runt of the Chinese scene. A team Keen where everyone sort of forgets about them. Even RNG comes in a lot more heralded. For me, I feel like Keen, this is where the buck stops. You defend your home turf, you walk away, and suddenly you're in the same placing as a team like RNG, and who knows what can happen.
I mean, you heard them in the interview. They were talking about the pressure that comes with being in Shanghai and having all these fans behind you. Very, very passionate fans that, for the better and the best of times, are going to support you and love you, but in the worst of times, they know when they mess up, they said it themselves, our Weibo is going to get overloaded if we make some serious mistakes here in this best-of-1.
Yeah, and
their road is not going to be easy because I believe after this they have to play. They'd have to play Liquid, right?
Oh,
but that's also the best way to make fans.
Yes.
You knock out the defending champions on your home turf. I mean, the cheers, they don't love them like they love LGD.
Oh,
They don't love them like they love
VG
VG.
Gaming or LGD strolls up, everybody's like, oh, LGD is invincible. You know, VG Gaming's talking about how much they love LGD, how they look up to those players. Nobody's talking about Keen, but the fans, the few fans who have stayed late into the night to be able to watch Keen, they are not facing pushovers. Infamous. They looked really good in the group stage blitz. You and I got to cast a lot of them. They are an aggressive team that you heard it from them themselves. You know, I don't even follow that much of Dota 2. I didn't even really follow the players. I'm just here to play the game. They look just like that inside the game. They look like doesn't matter whose name tag is on what hero. They're just here to outplay you.
Yeah, and I think that's really helped them a lot. That fearlessness, not really respecting anybody's name, and Keen not having quite the expected group stage that a lot of people thought they could have, but I mean, there's always one random team at TI that happens to do really well because it's unexpected, and that could be them this year.
Look at this. We are going to have those lane swaps, and what Hector did, he's hanging around the mid lane. He's finally going to head down to bottom. They want Old 11 in that matchup against the Bat Rider, I believe, but he is going to be gone on almost immediately, fortunately. That Heavenly Grace will manage to spare him from all the sticky napalms that he had on him, as well as the slow that comes out from Rayfire Blast after the stun fades.
And I always say that you need a few all-star performances just to make things easier for yourself, and Hector is definitely the player that they need that kind of performance from. Was completely dominant in the groups, had such a good run. We need that from him again if you're a South American Dota fan.
Chasing down Old Chicken, getting a lot of damage out from Schofield. Whisper and Schofield, they've been quite the deadly duo, almost finishing off Old Chicken there. This is an aggressive duo that's going to make a lot of space for their hard carries of both Chris Luck and Hector.
And this is one of the few times where we're going to see Whisper actually prioritize in the laning phase cap. So many times during the group stage, they sort of just fed him to the wolves, made him get into some 1v3 situation as Schofield just try to secure Hector's farm.
And on the other side, we've got in our mid matchup, we've got Geese Kunkka against Chris Luck, a player who had just an outstanding performance at ESL 1 Manila. Looks to be like one of those talents who could definitely see a long history in Dota 2 given his start here.
Oh yeah, he was absolutely dominant in India. Just worked pretty much everybody. I remember he had one of the highest first blood rates.
Oh yeah.
He would just solo kill by level 4 almost every single time.
He was just outplaying everyone.
And he was definitely their star there. And they're going to need a performance like that from him, especially in a best-of-1 situation. Something I noticed about Infamous in the group stage is oftentimes they would win the first game, sort of get figured out a little bit more in game number 2. So maybe this best-of-1 format could help them, but we'll see. As it feels like Keen sort of had a hard read going for that first pick PA.
Yeah.
It feels like they kind of expected the type of heroes that Hector could play and felt like PA was going to be good against both of them as they make the rotation down to bottom. Kaka already has 5 stacks on him, getting pretty low.
The Purification doing so much damage. The Heavenly Grace is enough for a few more seconds, but Infamous give up on the dive.
This Omni Knight still farming just fine under his tower.
How do you expect this matchup to really break down, looking at some of these heroes?
I think the Enchantress is not as good against the PA as they think it is.
Yeah.
PA has Blur. She has the ability to gap close against you, so she can't just chuck impetus shots at you. More importantly, a lot of the attack speed slow that you get from the Untouchable gets negated by the fact that she can just Stifling Dagger you, and the bonus attack speed that you get from the Phantom Strike too. Plus, Enchantress just sort of has a low HP pull. She really relies on that Untouchable, and PA can definitely burst you.
Yeah, this is definitely a situation where Keen kind of got the lanes that they wanted, right? They got the Omni Knight versus that Bat Rider, the Bat Rider, unable to pressure the hard carry of Keen, and then the PA in turn can do potentially a lot of work against Whisper, but we're seeing that Schofield is having a significant impact in the lane thanks to his tag team.
and this mid lane matchup relatively even ever since they took away the deny mechanic at bottom lane.
Toss back, Hector. Just trying to deal with this pull that was happening from Keen. Either team would love to be able to pick up a kill in the next like 10 seconds, as we do have the bounty runes spawning. And I'm thinking Schofield should be able to secure at least one of them top, so we'll see what Hector and Stinger are able to do in this bottom lane.
Almost feel like Schofield should just rotate towards that bottom lane. I don't know how much he gets accomplished at top. Believe you just want Whisper to just get levels right now. He's going to make his way towards the rune, going to find the sentry.
Yeah, it looks like the aggro dual lane should be able to get the 2, and Tuss secures another one on the other side of the map. So that's going to be 3 for Infamous, including that. The mid lane matchup, 33-5 now for Chris Luck against Yee's Kunkka, 28-5. Is this how this matchup is supposed to go now that some of the deny mechanics have been taken away?
Oh yeah, normally you'd see the TA at like 12 denies at this point, but because the deny mechanic's been taken away, the Kunkka does just fine. The only thing that's sort of annoying for him is the regen fight, just because it's so hard for him to burn out refraction charges.
Perhaps that's part of the reason he's gone for Bottle, and Curry's been spending a lot of time in that mid lane. We'll see whether or not he can get the 6-minute rune.
I think part of the reason why he decided to go for the Bottle was so he could play around the power runes, just gank out the side lanes. He doesn't really have a support that can rotate in and get an easy kill from him in mid lane.
Yeah, Witch Doctor and Rubik both kind of, they don't have great amount of kill power solo, right?
Yeah, and Schofield gonna make the rotation down towards bottom.
Hector's quite low. This could be our first blood. Snowball's coming in. He does manage to pick up Hector, but Hector does get burned down. Kaka secures the first blood before he goes down. Old 11 with the Heavenly Grace is actually going to turn and fight Stinger back. Even with the Firefly up, Omni Knight remains unafraid of the flames.
Chris Luck finds the DD rune at bottom lane.
Oh, with the double trap slow. Is he really going to die?
Oh, he gets the courier!
Oh, Yee! Miss micro there, leaves the courier right behind his hero. That just sets it up for a clean side blades kill.
That's just one of those situations where it never really happens.
Yeah. You just don't really think about it until it's too late.
Oh, he just sent it directly back, didn't even bother microing it, thought he was fine as he was going to make the rotation down towards bottom. That's what I expected, for him to try to get aggressive into the side lanes. Plus, I think that's a little bit of a tilt move. Like, getting a kill on a Tusk at that point doesn't even feel that good.
Yeah.
Don't be mad.
But once you mess up in that situation, you want to make the play that recovers it.
Stun out from Hector. Schofield moving forward with Stinger. But again, feeling like they just really can't pressure this last pick on the night. They came out from Keen that was supposed to be able to address both the physical damage that comes out from the Wraith King and the TA, while also providing a dispel against this Bat Rider.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but as an offlaner at bottom,
quickly takes away that Ray Fire Blast slow damage over time, and again, is able to push back Infamous. They really just can't get aggressive like they want to.
if you're playing Omni in a game like this, normally the only time that your game is actually ruined is if your laning phase is bad, right?
Yeah.
And if you get the levels, I mean, your hero sort of just becomes unkillable anyways.
Yeah, it's like one of those great situations both the Bat and Omni Knight are in, right? It's like, as long as I can get to level 3 and level 5, I'm just going to feel more and more powerful.
This is one thing, by the way, that Infamous does more than almost any other team. They stack the living hell out of the jungle.
Yeah.
They make sure, Hector, don't worry how your laning phase goes. You're going to get recovered in some way or another. And this is exactly how they do it.
And this is one of the things that we said is, like, sometimes, you know, they would just leave Whisper in these really terrible lanes, but it's not a bad idea to give Whisper a good lane because of how much they focus giving Hector and Chryslug these free neutrals, these free stacks and such. Hector taking a big nuke out from that purification, tossed back, but now the telekinesis is gone. Hector will TP to the shrine on the other side of the map, trying to be as efficient as possible. Hector always has really good reads about that stuff.
Yeah. Are they going to swap lanes entirely then? If Hector makes the rotation up towards his top lane, I feel like they have to.
Yeah,
Whisper probably has to go bottom.
Whisper is about to pick up level 7, so he's
more
than...
They're going to go on him here, Cap.
Old Chicken is going to be caught here. The Snowball actually went up to the neutrals. Schofield just trying to get closer to Old Chicken, it seems, after the flare, but Old Chicken just can't get far enough away from Whisper with the Ice Shards to be able to finish him off. Whisper starts laying some damage out onto Old 11, but Yi is going to pull him back into the combo here. but they don't really have the damage to threaten this.
They want to go on Dark right now.
3 levels of the heal, and now they're going to be able to get the slowdown onto Dark. A fresh snowball is up. Nice shots. He's got 1 or 2 left, but the cast just perfectly sent out at the last moment.
And a very good Torrent at the same time. Otherwise, probably would have gotten the extra hit onto the Witch Doctor to get the kill, but Yi right now, not a whole lot of successful rotations. And he's going to get out-farmed by this TA in the jungle. He really wanted to make these plays work, but Enchantress just doesn't die in those positions.
No, she does not, since like everybody's been going for the Nature's Attendance maxed out. It's so hard to challenge this hero, and Whisper is actually staying in this lane right now as they're going to be able to catch Dark, who's trying to protect his tower, gets a vision up, but immediately Infamous kill him, make sure they get the bounty runes, and now Whisper's going to rotate over. He waits until they've secured the bounty runes first, and it looks like he may have just gotten 3 for his team, almost killing Kaka as well, but a fast reaction from Kaka that TP out. Whisper knows the damage wouldn't come fast enough.
And they did swap the lanes out. During that entire time, Stinger was farming bottom. They didn't make the rotation until late just because Whisper was able to get that kill and Hector defaulting to the jungle. And Old 11 is doing the right thing right now, Cap. He's staying on top of Hector. He's making his laning phase as annoying as possible. He knows that he TP'd up here and Whisper TP'd at bottom, so they're reluctant to make the switch.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be in the one-on-one matchup against this Enchantress now that she actually has all the damage that comes out from Impetus. The smoke up, the first big maneuver here from Keen Gaming, looking for a successful move to shut down Hector once again. They have done their research. They know exactly how Infamous likes to be able to play, and that is stacking the best game possible for Hector. And with a rotation like this, they've secured at least 1 death on him, and no rotations from Infamous. It looks like they're just going to leave Hector out to dry potentially, as Stinger kind of rotates over, but Hector is going to be caught by another X marks the spot, and he just stops moving. He knows his life is forfeit, and it's all space as Whisper tries to take down that bottom tier 1.
That is such a nice rotation because they see that Schofield is low and mid and he's fighting Old Chicken. They know he's not going to TP in. Whisper just TP'd into bottom lane, so not a lot of support coming from him. And that's part of what Wraith Kings rely on, is that fear that nobody will go on them at all because of the counter rotations.
Yep.
But the timing of that was just almost too good for Keen not to take advantage of.
And that means Keen will not only kill the Wraith King, but they'll also, all that space that was given to the Enchantress to take that tower, they just even things out. Telekinesis toss back there. It's going to be able to lasso on Kaka, but not actually pulling him to the TA for fear of a boat coming in. And Crystallock trying to, oh no, there's a sentry already placed, so immediately gets stunned up. Whisper's now in trouble. Nature's Attendant trying to save him. The snowball back into the team.
Oh, it's going to hit the boat.
There, and he also has the Maledict. He punches up in the air, but they all just get wiped in the river. Infamous completely misread that situation and bleed out heroes very rapidly.
There are 5 heroes right now on the side of Keen. They want to take this mid tower. Infamous, maybe they just thought it was going to be some 3-on-3 where they could back him up, but everybody from Keen made the rotation over, and as a result, they're going to get rewarded with this mid tower. So crucial to the rest of their game, because against a team like Infamous that decides to go these hands of Midases on their carry every game, you want to punish this.
Yeah.
You want to get into his jungle. You want to force him out. Old 11 is a hard kill. He can do moves like this.
I mean, just little things like being able to take like 1 neutral camp away from this Wraith King. That's not going to be bad. He even body blocks it. He just goes through and is going to try and catch more CS, just kills the skeletons.
Yeah, you have a TA that wants to farm one side of the triangle. You have a Wraith King that wants to farm the other. They don't have the easiest way to push out lanes. It's really just the Bat Rider 5 position that does it. And he doesn't really have the levels to do it cleanly. So you're put into a weird position where Stinger gonna run into Old 11, but they don't really have map pressure like they'd like to.
Nice.
So losing that mid tower is pretty big.
They do manage to get the obs.
Oh, bottom lane?
Dark actually kills one as well. Oh, the melt missed there. An Old Chicken dances away into the trees. I don't think Chris Luck really thought he could get the kill there. And, oh, dear. He may be caught. The Tusk is coming in, trying to save the day. Ice Shards, okay, that's in the wrong direction. A little odd, but Crystalix going to turn and try and fight Yi with Coco's Rum as well as the Spirit Vessel. He is going to be able to snowball into the neutrals, but again, Keen Gaming just bringing the extra heroes here to be able to take the fight, ensuring that they will bring down Infamous every single time they meet these heroes. They know that Hector's too busy farming, that as long as they 5-man, they'll be able to take any fight against Infamous. Now they're going to be able to catch Whisper as well with the Spirit Vessel, preventing a lot of that heal. The early pickup from Yi, just a smart read of this game and how to be able to dismantle Infamous.
And Infamous, it feels like they're rushing their moves. Going on a PA in that position, just as a solo TA, you're almost definitely not going to get the kill.
Yeah,
if you looked at the timer too, she was about to get another creep wave connecting to her, so she could have always just blinked back.
Look at this, I love this. Keen. They get kills like this, and then they're just immediately going to smoke to the other side of the map.
And the entire team is farming right now. You have a Tusk that's hitting neutrals, a Bat Rider that's hitting neutrals, Hector trying to push out this top lane because he knows that somebody has to.
That could not have been a more beautiful read. The sucker punch from Kaka as he'd stolen that one away. He's even going to be able to get Nature's Attendant. Surprising that Whisper is still alive even through that Spirit Vessel. That Yi just said, oh, that's the kill, and ran to look for more. Now he has to come back to make sure they finish the job. Whisper finally dies.
Did take quite a bit, and that's going to open up some space, but it never feels good having to trade deaths for space. And that's what Infamous has to do right now. They still have a pretty good gold advantage, despite the fact that Keen has gotten the last 5 kills in a row. Everyone just kind of farms really quickly on the side of Infamous. That's what Hector's known for, being put into these weird positions where his team gets behind early and kills and loses map control, but still finding space on the map.
Yeah, you pointed this out during the group stage, is that Hector is actually well regarded by a lot of the Western players as being a very proficient farmer.
Yeah, and once he gets his Radiance, the next timing will hit. But I sort of feel like with Wraith King, once you get the Radiance, if anything, it just speeds up your farming time even more.
Yep.
So you probably just want to continue to hit creeps almost.
Yeah.
At least for the next 3 or 4 minutes after that bounce. You want to take advantage of the fact that you can clear creeps so quickly. On one hand, you can use the skeletons that you spawned to farm 1 stack, and then you can push out the lane using the Radiance.
It almost feels like these Wraith Kings get Radiance, and then they just keep farming until they have like level 18 and like 1 or 2 items past that Radiance. They want to be able to reach that like really dangerous mid game that like Alchemists do.
Yeah, I don't think you're fighting this Kunkka heads on early.
No.
If you look at his item build, he's decided to go for the Spirit Vessel.
And that will mean that the scaling of Keen Gaming may fall off with the amount that they're 5-manning, running around the map. You can see the win probability, though, heavily favoring the home team.
Yeah, I think the idea is that the PA is going to outcarry any of them, which might not entirely be wrong if you just look at the sheer lack of disables that they have for him.
X marks the spot on Schofield. No snowball, and he's going to be caught in disable after disable. The snowball is going to come a bit too late unless the Ice Shards can separate the two, but there's just another X marks the spot.
Again, they just have to trade deaths for space. What they're really trying to do is divert them away from the towers right now, Cap.
And they are kind of doing that. They've only lost 2 towers so far, but surely, like, Keen is still keeping up in net worth, and at some point in time, especially with the PA Battle Fury, you're gonna reach this really big power spike. And you should just be able to start mowing down towers. Bebby was said he would be surprised to see the PA Battle Fury. Why do you think Old Chicken went for it this game?
I think almost all PAs in situations like this would go Battle Fury. It feels good as a farming mechanic. It makes it so that you don't feel so all in the mid game. Plus, it's just one of those items, like, it feels good all around because it gives you mana regen too.
Yeah. So we can see from Old Chicken's current predicament, definitely use a little bit more mana. Stinger going for the creep cut right now, being chased by Yi's Kunkka.
Just going in for Roche.
Even the boat being thrown out here, Stinger is going to get spotted finally. He actually goes for the lasso TP away. Q play by Stinger and does manage to buy a lot of space, but the rest of the team is focusing on Roshan. As we've been talking about, doesn't look like Infamous is looking for a fight.
Hey, what's weird is this was a first pick PA, but it looks really good against all of Infamous's heroes. Like, for the most part, all the cores are physical damage dealers. They rely on the hit.
And
This is like the weirdest read that I've seen in a draft.
Yeah.
They're like, we know all your heroes. It fits into this category. PA is going to be good against all of them.
Keen. They smoked up immediately after the Roshan. Hoping to be able to catch somebody here, but all the important heroes on the other side of the map. Whisper is pushing out the bottom lane while the Wraith King farms up that jungle area. Just about to complete his Radiance, but Keen Gaming know there's no reason to slow anything down. They just want to make sure that Stinger doesn't actually catch anything. Oh, they do have the X on Dark, so he's going to be pulled back. After a quick heal.
And the side lane push out, we've seen this so often from the side of Infamous. They want to avoid these fights early on. And they're even pressuring this bottom tier 2 towers. The skeletons are going to work, but Yi kind of briefly TP back. He wants to continue that pressure. Mid lane, Schofield, almost, oh.
Does get jumped on, but no disables.
And they're just buying really good time right now.
Yeah.
They've taken the tower up at top. There's a BKB on this Templar Assassin. And they finished the Radiance. This is pretty good item timing, despite not getting a kill for so long.
I think Keen Gaming have almost focused too much on trying to catch these heroes that are split pushing them, and just there is a lack of objective pushing, right?
Yeah,
on the
that's
side
what
of
Febby
Keen,
said
they
too.
just don't have great heroes to hit towers.
He wanted something that could hit towers.
Yeah.
In the draft as the last pick, but they decided to go for the Omni Knight. You have a very 5-man heavy lineup as a result. Plus you went the Spirit Vessel on the Kunkka.
Yep.
It's going to work in the first 30 minutes of the game, but eventually this build, it'll start to fall off.
It seemed like a cute idea, especially with the way that he could like X marks and then defend that like bottom lane push, but just one shot and then back to the mid lane he goes, or the way he tried to hunt down the Bat Rider to prevent him from being able to split push. But in the end, addressing just one of these lanes hasn't been enough. There's always been a second lane that's being pushed in and objectives are being bled away.
Yeah. The one thing about it is Infamous is out farming them across the board, and they're going to grab this tier 2 tower. So somehow, despite not getting any kills, they're just getting more towers than Keen Gaming. But what it does come down to in Dota, and especially at TI, is the team fights. So we'll see if they're able to keep up in that department. They have such a physical damage-dealing core lineup, and there's an Omni Knight on one side, and you've got Blur on the PA. Naturally very good.
Yeah, it's definitely like Infamous. They can split push all they want, but you pretty much always, in order to win a game of Dota, have to be able to beat the enemy team in a team fight. So Infamous are going to have to take that eventually, and it's going to be against a Deso PA, as that's closing in pretty quickly. Going back for the minus on Whisper. He says this is going to be a long one, and I'm going to plan accordingly.
I would agree, because Keen doesn't have catch. If your offlaner doesn't come with catch, it usually means that you're not going to take the easiest of fights. So you just sort of have to 5-man. You don't have that option to just roam with 2 heroes and get kills easily. So you're going to run into the BKB TA. This might be the worst target for them to run into.
TA is going to be able to get off the BKB, jumps into the back line, but there is going to be saved from the Omni Knight. Kaka's going to be okay for now until a big punch from Schofield to be able to finish him off. Schofield will be sacrificed in turn as the paralyzing cast, slowing down both
Hector's here now.
and Whisper, but they're going to show up. And you get the stun on Old 11. Look at that damage coming out from this Enchantress. Heavenly Grace won't save you, my friend. The Omni Knight falls. And Chris Luck looking to be able to blow down the next hero, Old Chicken. He needs a target to be able to jump away to, and he's got one in Yi, but a big shot from the Impetus, it does miss. The Tusk snowballing in, Ice Shards forward, the Raid Fire Blast nails the PA. Can they overwhelm him?
What a dive this is.
And this is a dive that will be able to win the fight.
And they're going to surround this PA right now. Ulted up by the Bat Rider, nowhere for her to go.
Absolutely nowhere. Jumps over to the Kunkka, but they had the Ice Shards well in place to be able to block
They're going
her
to take
out.
this tower,
That
too.
is 4 dead, and yeah, tier 2 is going to fall just like that.
And Infamous has answered the question. All they needed was that one team fight. They didn't get a kill for something like 12 minutes, and it happens in a hurry. And 23 minutes in, they're threatening for the tier 3.
Do a little bit of damage, not trying to push their luck. And I think that's something that, you know, Infamous, and there were points where I think they got a little undisciplined. They lost some of the games because of that. But one thing that they really didn't do too much was try and push high ground before they were actually ready. And this is a good example of that. Maybe it's just because in part of how much they love to be able to farm. As we look back at that fight, and see Old Chicken just try and make escape after escape. But Infamous, you say Keen, you know, lacking catch. Infamous has a plethora of it.
Yeah, the pride of South American Dota. I mean, they're able to just follow up so easily. They have stun after stun. They've got multiple ways to gap close. They've got blink daggers aplenty. And I feel like Keen, they almost missed their timing window by 5-manning too much. They would often take these smoke ganks where they just run into one hero. Took them way too long to kill Whisper when they did run into the jungle and found him. And all it really did was open up space for his 2 side lane cores.
Look at that.
And the one
Midas from Hector.
The one thing that we know about Infamous is like they farm really well, and really efficiently. And it almost feels like Keen, I mean, they got way too gun shy. Once they got the Aegis, they weren't really willing to commit for the push. They kept dealing with the side lane assault, and it just lost them so much time. But they're going to go for the 5-man again. I think they're sort of resigned to this fate with their item builds and the type of heroes that they have. They've got to go for this raid boss PA. But even having an Omni Knight behind her, she still needs a BKB.
And their goal, right, is to be able to convince Infamous to come back and fight them. But Infamous are refusing to do so and just keep on pushing the other side of the map. So eventually, Keen, they may be the ones to come back in style. They're going to try and defend this here to at least get a team fight out of it, but they're going to be a little slow to arrive as Kaka does manage to get a telekinesis, has a Ray Fire Blast to be able to get the chain stun.
They're committing to this fight.
They don't really want to jump Hector right away. They're not going to overly commit into this reincarnation. They finish him up and then start retreating, especially with that Heavenly Grace on Old Chicken, allowing him to back away from these slows pretty easily. The X marks the spot, allows him to be able to jump back in, but the toss snowball and actually bought the time, and now the lasso on Old Chicken fades away nice and fast from the Heavenly Grace, but there goes that on the ultimate. It will be able to buy some time with the pure damage coming out from the Enchantress, doing so much to Old Chicken, he actually has to back away, and without the Old Chicken, they're lacking on damage. Infamous knows that. They're just going to march forward, catch whatever heroes they can. That's only going to be the Omni Knight for now. It's Infamous say, great, fantastic, we got a tier 2, we didn't lose the team fight, let's back up, control the map again.
That is a very head-scratching decision to try to go on Hector, who, I mean, he already has the ultimate up. And this is not an easy kill either. He opted to go for the Blade Mail so that he could just get a little bit more armor and to try to dissuade the PA from going in on him. And Keen, they really rely on that Coco's Rum. So when they threw in the boat just to take out the first life, it's so hard for them to get any sort of follow-up damage.
Yeah, if it was like, if they could have actually brought him down without that, and then commit the boat into the second life and take that big team fight, would have been fantastic. You saw how low Hector got in that second life, but it was just too much as that Schofield snowball, and then the damage comes out from the Enchantress, threatening the PA's life. Once the PA is out of that fight, Keen have nothing left.
And you see Smiles Abound on the side of Infamous. They're happy about this game. They know the pace of the game is definitely favoring them right now. And for Keen, it almost feels like they're feeling the pressure. They're going for these ill-advised 5-mans. I mean, they're taking whatever fights present themselves, but they really need a BKB on this PA. Even though the Blur is very good, they're just sort of chunking her down with magic damage.
And perhaps the pressure of being able to play in front of the home crowd is getting to Keen, and how they've gotten so gun-shy. They just don't want to be making any mistakes. They're playing not to lose rather than playing to win. And Infamous, they're only looking at victory right now with an 8,000 net worth lead at 27 minutes in. Very few kills, but that's been to Infamous' advantage with all these Hand of Midases and farming heroes.
Yeah, and they've got a BKB now on the Raid King too. I mean, they're in prime position in this game. And could you imagine if I told you that this is what was going to happen? Infamous for most teams, and for most analysts, was a bottom 2 team. For a lot of teams, this would be a free draw, but I mean, they're proving they don't roll over for anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Compared to our previous best of 1 with Team Liquid there, I'm sure Keen thought they were pretty fortunate to be able to get Infamous instead. But as you said, the South American powerhouse is proving not to just roll over. They will have a fight though. Keen, nice snowball coming out. Schofield gonna be able to save Whisper, but can he actually get him out in time? The Torrent, the boat, almost enough damage, and Yi is able to get the final swing. Now a stolen lasso coming out from Kaka as he does manage to grab Chris Luck, taking away a lot of that BKB timing, and Infamous know that with Whisper gone, they can no longer take this fight confidently. They're gonna try and retreat, make sure they don't lose any more heroes. Schofield will manage to slide away with that Blink Dagger.
Roshan is up though, and they're pinging in that area. Old Chicken already going to start this for his team. Chantress doesn't have buyback yet, and with no lasso on the board, Infamous might be a little bit more reluctant to take this fight. There's no BKBs. Hector just going to run in.
About to come back in. Look at that. Chris Luck immediately.
They found the back line.
And what a snowball on Old 11 and Kaka controlling him up. The telekinesis toss back does help get some control, but it's not good enough as Stinger flying over them. On the side, we do have, they're trying to chase away this toss as best as possible.
Oh, the melt strike.
But Hector, melt strike after melt strike. Chris Luck being able to bring down Dark. Again, now Old 11. Schofield's trying to get away, still away from that X marks the spot, but look at him now. He's taunting. He's saying, you can't finish me up, boyo. I've got the Walrus Punch. That's the touch that Infamous need to claim Roshan.
And now this half HP Roche is just theirs for free. I mean, Infamous is just thoroughly outplaying Keen right now. They're consistently getting to the back line. Keen can't protect either of their supports right now. It feels like this Omni Knight's job is too complicated. His head is on a swivel right now. He's trying to get to his cores. He has to turn around to help his supports out. And they're just going to go for it right now. There is a glyph available, but with so much time left on this Kunkka, 36 seconds until he respawns, doesn't have buyback. Infamous, they're going to take this tower very quickly with the Deso.
They certainly are, especially if Hector can get out some skeletons as well. 10 seconds on that. 20 seconds on the Kunkka. We have a fresh BKB on the Phantom Assassin.
He needed one so badly. The Omni has to be able to protect the back line.
It just seems like Keen in that last Roshan fight, probably not expecting Infamous to take the fight to them 4 versus 5. Got a little lax in their positioning around the pit.
Yeah, the supports got completely caught out, and suddenly the numbers advantage swung the other way.
I mean, just Dark immediately out of the fight with Chris Luck executing him, and then they just get stuck in this funnel of death in the river area, which Infamous are going to be able to work really well around between the Radiance Burn, the Firefly that's out from Stinger where he can play on the cliffs, Schofield being chased by E this entire time, but had multiple ways to be able to save himself with ice shards and snowballs.
By the way, if you just check the amount of farm that Chris Luck has, he has an MKB and a Daedalus completed up. 1,200 gold on top of that.
That is massive, and he's being greedy too. He's holding on to the Aegis and the Cheese, even with the Deso, or the Daedalus rather, in his backpack.
And you could see the distress on Yi's face. When they flash to him, he can sense that this game is rapidly getting out of hand. They can sense it slipping away, and Infamous, I mean, they're getting stronger as the minute passes by. They're marching down mid again. They've got 2 lives on their TA. They've got 2 lives on the Wraith King. There's so much that Keen have to deal with just to win a team fight at this point.
Schofield making drawings up to the top lane and bottom lane. I think he just wants to be able to hem Keen in as much as possible.
Look at that discipline from Infamous.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean, Hector looked like he kind of just wanted to go straight into that bottom lane of Barracks through the mid lane, but Schofield said now is not the time. We still have shrines up, guys. We have plenty of time on this Aegis. There's no need to rush things.
And they are looking like such a veteran team right now. Yeah. They're pushing in the lanes before they go for some sort of blind push. And that's what Keen did, if you recall. Keen sort of just went for it down mid while their 2 side lanes were in distress. But Infamous is being cautious. All their lanes are in a good position, and now they're just going to go for it.
Hector starts banging on the tier 3. Chris Luck not joining him too much. May get a shot or 2 just to be able to... Oh no, he's going to jump forward and immediately take out Kaka, popping his BKB, looking for his next target. The Heaven's Halberd is going to be able to buy some time for Dark, but not long enough as he just gets 2 shots
level
right
25
away.
talent.
That's a double kill for Chris Luck with the Melt Strike, getting the bashes in. Omni Knight finally forced to be able to throw out his ultimate, but now he's being pulled back and all that pure damage. Triple kill for Chris Luck. He looks for his next target. The boat coming in. He's going to take his time, backing up. He has the Blink Dagger coming back in. Old Chicken doesn't manage to jump in and finish off Schofield, but another Heaven's Halberd onto Chris Luck, stalling up this damage. Old Chicken tries to throw the daggers after him, but this Templar Assassin with the refraction.
They're going for Megas right now.
Tanky, and they're just going to go for the Megas. They're going to force reaction out of Keen Gaming. They say, you have to fight right now. Ain't a 3 versus 5, or Megas is ours.
And they've already taken the top racks with the skeletons, and bottom shortly to follow. 33 minutes in, they've taken Megas.
Because of the X, got a free jump on to the Kunkka, and just like that, they managed to get the Megas, and now Old 11, he gets executed quickly on the spot. Yi slowed down, paralyzed, and cast bounce between the two of them, though, with the Bona on top of it. Chris Luck does take a large share of this damage. He does have the Aegis, though, and he's okay with this, especially thinking kill Old Chicken, Impetus after Impetus, coming in from Whisper, finally able to finish off the PA. She buys back, but Keen Gaming stuck inside their face, and Hector says, that's where I want to go. I want to go all the way into the fountain. I want to find some more kills, but he knows he may have just overstepped himself a little bit. They do have the snowball. Now they jumped outside of the fountain. Hector's really started to fight. Quickly taking out the PA. Thanks to Whisper, laying out the damage. Keen Gaming are forced into the fountain once again, and that is GG Gaming. Called a GG, and Infamous make it past the best of ones.
Unbelievable. South America, you have your champions. They have secured themselves a top 12 berth at this international.
They fulfilled every expectations that people had for the South American teams. They went into that last major, they went into that epicenter, and they bottomed out just like South America's done almost every single time when it comes to these DPC events, when it comes to TI. But here, Infamous, the Peruvians and the Soul Bolivian in Whisper have proven that they finally are here to be able to take TI by storm. They finish off Keen Gaming in front of their home crowd and have now moved on into the best of threes. And with that, Infamous moving forward, we're also going to move forward as we have another best of one. It's moving late into the night. We've got Shiver standing by.
Yes, thank you very much, Cap and Blitz. I'm here, I'm outside, and we got to enjoy that Infamous victory. An amazing performance. Hector on his Wraith King, couldn't ask for anything better for a best of one. This is a bunch of first-timers, Kyle, that came to the main stage against a team full of people that, you know, they're Chinese, there's a Chinese crowd, everybody cheered against them, and they performed.
Yeah,
they did it.
I felt like once the Psyblade courier kill went down, you could feel the momentum shift a little bit. Bit shaky at first, Hector not having a great start, Chris Luck like 0-2-0. It wasn't looking great, but like that just felt like it gave them that. You saw that chat wheel come out immediately. You could tell they started to feel themselves.
Yeah, it was great. Here also, of course, OD Pixel, BSJ, best of one. You know, normally you want to see the best of one, or you want to see you know, bloodbaths, but it felt like Infamous was like cool, calm, and collected.
Well, I wouldn't say cool and calm. They were aggressive and terrifying. There was that point of the game I sort of sat down. There was like a 1K lead for Infamous. They were down 10-6 on the kills. They were diving the tier 1, diving the tier 2. And at that point, it's like, well, I think the game's over. And it was. They just didn't stop. They kept going and going. They hit their timings early with the Wraith King and the TA, and it just felt like Keen Gaming from that point. They were just out of the game. They were just getting overrun. They were getting absolutely dismantled. And it's only just going to show how exciting it's going to be watching Infamous in the future series. They've done it here in the best of one, obviously best of three. It's a different ball game, but if they can keep this sort of performance up on the main stage with that sort of confidence, they can go far.
Yeah, they really can, Brian.
Yeah, the Enchantress Wraith King, those two heroes like in the group stage were their two most signature heroes, I would say. And we saw two versions of Infamous in the group stage, and one of them was with the signature heroes, and they were taking games off of teams like LGD. And they looked like they could take games off the best teams in this tournament. And I think that's huge to go into a best of one and just say, we're going to first round. Like our comfort zone heroes, we don't care if you counter them. And you see there, like they just steamrolled, and I love the confidence, and I really have become a fan of this team.
Yeah, I think you and me and a lot of other people both. And of course, credit to that, it is Stinger, the captain of the squad, and he is with Casey right now.
Thank you, Shiver. Yeah, Stinger is here. I could just see the excitement on your face when you walked in and the relief. Congratulations. How did it feel to play on the TI main stage?
Primero que nada, felicitaciones. Y quería preguntarte cómo se siente jugar en el estadio enfrente de todo el mundo en TI.
Pues es grandioso. Al entrar estaba como que bastante emocionado, ¿no? Ver a los costados a toda la gente, bastante emocionado, y al momento de que empezó el juego simplemente concentración, ¿no? O sea, concentración total y ya. Sí.
He was very excited walking in, seeing all the people to the sides, but once the game started, it was just pure concentration.
How do you balance that concentration with knowing what the stakes are? Because early on it looked like perhaps you weren't going to win, and then you were able to just stay focused the way that you're talking. How do you stay focused at an event like TI?
¿Cómo haces para concentrarte con un evento tan importante? O sea, hay tanto en juego y es seguramente mucho más difícil que jugar normalmente. ¿Qué es lo que ustedes hicieron para poder concentrarse?
Pues para concentrarnos creo que nosotros vemos al costado y vemos a nuestros compañeros, ¿no? Y vemos que ellos quieren ganar tanto como uno mismo y ese sentimiento nos da confianza y pues nos ayuda a concentrarnos también.
To concentrate, instead of looking forward, you just look to your sides and you see your friends and you see that they want to win and you see that they're really focused. So that gives you the confidence that you need to concentrate and win these games.
And stay in the moment. One of the things that is so exciting about Dota is the fact that it brings people all over the world together. We're here in China for the first time for TI, but you're representing South America and South American Dota. There's a great fan base. What do you want to say to your fans?
Una de las cosas muy buenas de International es que vemos equipos de todo el mundo y ahora estamos en China, por ejemplo, pero ustedes están de aquí de Sudamérica y ustedes tienen un montón de fans en Sudamérica. ¿Hay algo que le quieras decir a ellos?
Sí, un saludo para todos ellos y un agradecimiento y estamos aquí, ¿no? Demostrando que el Dota sudamericano es fuerte y que podemos pelearle igual a cualquier equipo, ¿no?
A big hi and a big thank you to all the South American fans, and they're here to show that they can fight hand to hand against any other region in the world.
Stinger, congratulations once again, and muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Well, back to you.
Fighting they did indeed, and better yet, this is the best result any South American team has had at a TI so far. And going into this, actually, was Chris Luck, the mid laner. He said, his goal, people come to TI, I want to win TI. Great. It's a long shot for a lot of people, but Chris Luck actually came in saying, my goal is to be the best South American team that any TI has ever seen. Got it.
I'm pretty sure they have already cemented enough money to, not just beat out any team at TI from South America, but all of TIs and maybe even majors combined. You got to be proud of this already. I think they've already defied expectations. A lot of people had them in the bottom two.
Yeah, I feel like people have doubted why we have given a slot to South America. And I'll say at the start, I kind of doubted it too. And you're seeing it here. They've taken a lot of beatings over the course of the years, but they've proven they can learn from loss.
Yeah.
And they've improved to a point where they're a competitive region.
Now, speaking of beatings, and I didn't want to use that as a segue, but Rich is with Kaka right now.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, we are here with Kaka, and ultimately it is going to be the first team to fall from China. And even right now, around us while we're doing this interview, there's overwhelming support here in the arena. And one of the first things that we kind of heard them talk about in other interviews was the idea of how the fans may react if they did fall out early. And I kind of want to take a moment to ask on the other side, in the arena when they are playing with their lives on the line, their TI lives on the line, could they feel that support from their fans?
在你的采访当中，你提过，就是如果输了比赛，粉丝会有什么样的回应？但是我们想提一下，在场馆里面打比赛，有没有感受到粉丝对你的支持？
在场馆听到有很多粉丝在为我们在欢呼吧。
I heard a lot of fans cheering for us in the venue.
And with that, I mean, we could too as well, and I'm sure you guys at home could hear, but is the idea of that pride of the region, is it something that you do think of while you're here? Because obviously there are still teams that we know in the region that are moving on forward. Or when you're actually playing on the main stage, is it only your team that you're really thinking about?
就是对于粉丝支持中国队这件事情，有没有特别的想法？还是在舞台上面只为了自己而想？
那肯定会，我不知道怎么回答，就是觉得输了，很多比他们的支持吧，感觉自己也挺遗憾的。
I'm not sure what to say. It's unfortunate that we lost, but thank them for the support.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot of added pressure as well, and totally do understand that, but it's definitely deserved too. I think that there's a reason that so many people have gravitated around you even now to cheer from you, and I do want to know if there's anything else that you do want to say to the fans, because they've obviously made the support known, and it is very well deserved.
就是你们得到支持都是很值得的。最后想问一下，有没有任何东西，就任何话想跟粉丝说的？因为他们那么支持你。
感觉就很对不起，就是为我们支持的那些中国玩家吧，感觉自己感觉就是挺遗憾的，然后我们也挺难过的。但是我们会就这样吧。
I feel a little bit regret that we lost, and feel a little bit sorry that they feel like we didn't deserve their support, but thank them a lot, and we'll come back stronger.
You definitely did deserve the support. Thank you so much for talking to us. We're going to jump back up right now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rich, Kaka, and Helen. And yeah, Keen Gaming, we've seen them throughout the year. They had a bit of a rocky year, and it is sad to see them go out like this for sure, especially in such a star-studded lineup. They were having high expectations, Brian.
Yeah, I feel like every time you have a team around these caliber of Infamous and Keen, some of them are going to be a disappointment, and some of them are going to have that Hail Mary shot at a Cinderella story, and that's just how it happens. Somebody has to lose. And
somebody has to
today
lose.
was Keen.
There's going to be another team that has to lose today, Owen. We could take a look at the brackets and see where we are at right now. We have one more best of one coming your way. Owen, talk to me. What is this matchup going to be like for you? Mineski, Na'Vi?
I think it's going to be very, very close. You know, these are two teams that, for me at least, in the group stage, they gave us a couple of upsets, right? We saw a series where Na'Vi was able to take a game off OG, and then on the other half, we saw a series where Mineski was able to take a game off Team Secret. So when these guys come together, who's going to come out on top? Do you value the team that beat Secret or the team that beat OG more?
That is indeed the question. Now, before we continue talking about this matchup, we're first going to get to know Mineski a little bit better.
Ninja Boogie.
Hello.
Nico, baby.
Hello.
It's great to have you here.
It's good to be here. Good to be here, yeah. First time.
This is your first TI interview?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, this is my first WoW tournament. Yeah, he's never played a major or minor. He kind of skipped that whole process. Yeah, just skipped the whole part. Just TI.
That's right. You just joined in June, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you come to join the team?
I'm actually not sure.
you have
like,
to ask
him.
He just showed up?
His name just popped up in one of the lists of players that we could kind of get. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, we needed an aggressive player, and he looks very aggressive. So we kind of just the looks.
Just the looks, not the play.
Yeah.
No.
No, but yeah, he came in and we qualified.
So when you first come in,
Yeah.
how did you get comfortable playing with these guys enough to, just qualify for TI? No big deal.
Well, he's kind of contagious as a person, like in a good way.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
like a disease?
He just kind of like grew onto us.
Yeah.
And his like, he kind of gave us like the energy and like, because he's like he's not a new player, but he kind of gave some life into the team, like much needed life.
Yeah, I feel like this is what they were lacking when
Yeah.
I first came to Mineski.
Really?
His energy just like spread, and everyone was just happy to play again. Yeah.
And Nico, what have you been learning from your teammates?
Like a lot. Like I was doing mostly pop stuff in our games, outside the games as well. But now I'm more, I would say, what's the word? I'm not exactly sure.
Refine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of. I gotta support him even out of the game.
Yeah.
Isn't that usually how it works? Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, there was I think it was last year at Epicenter with a cybersports interview, and you said you didn't want to put TI on a pedestal.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
It's just like I hear from other people, and like it's just people. Usually, it goes when you're in TI. It goes down to like the pressure and how well you treat TI. Some people treat TI too much, and I think last year OG kind of proved that. You know, it was just like step by step. They just want to have fun. It's not the tournament to win. So yeah, I kind of want to build that mindset too.
It's interesting you say that because as you were talking, I was thinking back to last year and how I think you're right. If you can play TI for what it is, which is the best way to play the best Dota, and look at it that way first instead of if we don't prove ourselves here, it's all over. You know.
Because like a lot of people, it's life-changing money, obviously, if you win. But you shouldn't be thinking about the money. That distracts you from. Like, I think just OG just proved it. You know, like it was just all about fun, doing it together, and
friendship.
Yeah.
Did you watch TI last year?
Yeah, I did. I think they played phenomenal Dota, actually. At that time, I was a bit bitter, like, because I was not playing in any tournaments. I was just watching from home. But now, I see that they were actually one of the best teams throughout the whole, like, TIs.
And now you get to be at a TI playing against
and
them.
I hope to get a chance to beat them. So.
One day at a time.
Yeah.
We gotta survive the groups.
With your experience, do you believe that group stage is a good opportunity to create momentum to continue into the main event, or do you treat them as two separate entities?
I think it's different this time around because like there's a lot less tournaments this year, right? So going into the to TI, you don't really know what to expect from the teams because like it's been like 2 months or since the last major, something like that. So a lot of teams can be developing new strategies. So you don't really want to show everything, but you want to be able to make it out, and you want to try to make it to the winner bracket. So obviously it's good getting momentum in the group stage, but you don't want to like go all out. You want to keep something back, you know, just
hide a little something.
Save strats for TI.
Ooh. Thank you guys. Great job.
Thank you.
Great job with your first TI interview.
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah.
I hope it's not going to be the last one. Right?
It's still young.
Keeping something back. TI saving strats even in the group stage. We're going to find out if Mineski has indeed done that. Of course, their opponents are going to be Na'Vi, and they have looked really good in those group stages. Mineski a little bit rocky, but if they've been saving strategies, then that should surely mean that in this best of one, we're going to see them really deliver. Now, first though, to get the game, we need these players on stage. So let's welcome them in. Na'Vi have definitely impressed during the group stage. They made it here off of a 3-0 in the qualifiers, but people still have doubts. Every single time people have doubts. I think it is time to get rid of these doubts. Them taking the stage here is proof that they are indeed back, and I am never going to mention that again because that is just the case. They are here. They're going to play on the main stage of the International. They have taken games of the best of them in the group stage, and they're here to play Mineski. A squad that has undergone a lot of changes, even as far as a couple of months ago, 2 months ago. It was Nico Baby that joined the roster. Ninja Buki also only added this March, together with Raging Potato or Bimbo, however you want to call him, and they are here to deliver. They have been saving strats, according to themselves, and they have fun playing again, and that is so very important, as we have seen last year, last TI, OG, Friendship, taking it all the way. Can this Friendship and Mineski do the same? Can they make a lower bracket run? We are going to find out, or at least we're going to find out the first step of their journey here in Shanghai at the International 2019. It is one game only, one best of one. Now, first, before we go any further about this matchup, we're gonna see Casey talk with Na'Vi.
So Neko and Crystallize with Na'Vi. Welcome to TI9.
Hello.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes? How would you rate the way the last few months have gone for both of you as players?
Это были тяжелые вот эти пару месяцев. Мы были все время близки пройти на какой-то лан, но все время какие-то именно то ли психологические, именно весело проводить время и общаться, и получать опыт, и получать именно обратную связь от них.
Crystallize, I will ask you a question too. How have you grown as a player?
Именно за этот год, как по мне, я импровнулся больше всего, потому что это был второй год мой уже, который я не новичок, который я видел уже как самому развиваться, какими путями мне нужно идти, чтобы стать лучше. И благодаря моим тиммейтам я импровился, как по мне, очень много.
It sounds like you both have a lot of respect and a lot of camaraderie on your team. Do you think that that is a huge factor in being successful at this level?
Ну, это один из главных также факторов, потому что